Chapter 46-61. The two envoys were taken away by the guards. Lin Xue's face was full of worry. 200 million. That was a huge number. Originally, he had emptied the national treasury and even his own reserves to prepare 150 million fifth-grade origin stones, hoping to help Jiang Chen leave planet Crimson Sunset. After all, Jiang Chen's kindness was engraved in Lin Xue's heart. However, who would have thought that these two fellows would ask for such an exorbitant price? Lin Xue was completely dumbfounded. His original plan also became a bubble. Your Majesty, those two bastards are so arrogant. We might as well go all out and get rid of them. Damn it, this master dog is still full of anger. De Huang said angrily. When had he ever been bullied like this before? Hey, Mr. Jiang Chen, don't get too worked up. Those are the envoys of the Apocalypse planet. Their strength is above the fourth sky of the Star Emperor realm. If you anger them, the consequences will be unimaginable. Lin Xue looked at Jiang Chen and said bitterly, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." Jiang Chen nodded. These two fellows are indeed too rude and unreasonable. They are treating us like idiots. 200 million fifth-grade origin stones. Where the hell are we going to get that much? Dragon Shursan was infuriated as well. This was practically asking for their lives. Leave it to me. Lin Xue took a deep breath. He was the ruler of the human race, the ruler of a country. If even he couldn't do anything, then Jiang Chen and the others would also be helpless. Endure. Endure. Your Majesty, are you willing to be bullied by them like this? Jiang Chen said indifferently. Lin Xue's heart jumped. He looked at Jiang Chen with a face full of shock. This guy couldn't be thinking of taking advantage of the Apocalypse planet's envoys, right? Mr. Jiang Chen, speak your mind. For the people, for planet Crimson Sunset, we can endure, but we can't let others treat us like fools. If we keep giving in, it will only make them worse. Can you guarantee that in 100 years, these people won't ask for 300 million? 400 million? Or even more? Greed is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. Jiang Chen said in a deep voice. Mr. Jiang Chen, do you mean? Lin Xue took a deep breath. De Huang and Long Shursan's eyes lit up. They instantly understood what Jiang Chen meant. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Sitting back and waiting for death will only make us more passive. This is our territory. If we kill them, as long as the formation is still here, we can still leave planet Crimson Afterglow. The corners of Jiang Chen's mouth became colder and colder, but Lin Xue fell into silence. He didn't know what to do. After all, the two envoys were too strong. They weren't people he could contend with at all. Even Jiang Chen had to expend a lot of effort to kill Xueqi, who was in the third heaven of the Star Emperor realm. Moreover, he had almost lost his life. The strength of the two envoys in front of him wasn't something Xueqi could compare to. Instead of being treated like a lamb, doesn't your Majesty want to hold your head high? Mu Yibai also suggested. She believed in Jiang Chen's decision, just like her love for Long Shursan. Jiang Chen had brought them too many incredible things. From the moment they stepped into the Red Mid-region, he had become a legendary existence. It's not that we don't know what's good for us. It's just that they've gone too far. They've oppressed us to the bone. Can't we resist? I know that your Majesty has already put in a lot of effort to gather 50 million origin stones for us. Now that we want to gather another 100 million grade 5 origin stones, even if it's not as difficult as climbing to the sky, I'm afraid that your Majesty will suffer a lot. At this time, the people of planet Crimson Afterglow are the ones who will suffer. Your Majesty should know this better than me, Jiang Chen said, but every word was hurtful. It put Lin Xue in an extremely difficult position. Fine, Lin Xue said through gritted teeth. His entire body was tense. At this time, he was not only gambling with his own life, but also the fate of the entire planet Crimson Afterglow. Just as Jiang Chen had said, he had no other choice but to plunder the wealth of the people for the remaining origin stones. He would not be able to rest easy if he left the people in dire straits. Mr. Jiang Chen, you must have a plan, right? Lin Xue looked at Jiang Chen with a burning gaze. Although his heart was beating like a drum, Jiang Chen was not an impulsive person. From his battle with the Harpies, it could be seen that Jiang Chen was fully prepared and had calculated every possibility. That was why he had been able to kill Xueqi and exterminate the Harpies. He had single-handedly turned the situation around. It could be said that he had made great contributions. I need to borrow something from your majesty, Jiang Chen said. Borrow what? Lin's heart trembled. Even if he had to borrow his life, he would not hesitate. His greatest ambition was to let the people live and work in peace. 50 million origin stones. 50 million origin stones? Okay. Lin Zhuo was shocked, but he did not frown. Jiang Chen definitely had his reasons for borrowing 50 million origin stones. There was no doubt about that. As the saying went, don't use a suspicious person, and don't doubt a person you use. Since he had chosen to believe in Jiang Chen, then he should spare no effort in supporting him. Lin Zhuo did not doubt him and handed a spatial ring to Jiang Chen. The spatial ring contained more than 50 million grade 5 origin stones. I will come find them in 3 days. Jiang Chen smiled slightly. Little Chenzi, what ideas do you have? Hurry up and tell me. Big Yellow asked impatiently, following behind Jiang Chen with his buttocks shaking. You stay here and study this teleportation formation. This is the key to leaving planet Crimson Afterglow. Jiang Chen pointed at the formation that the 2 Heavenly Enlightenment Planet envoys had left on the ground as he spoke in a low voice. You win. De Huang rolled his eyes at Jiang Chen. However, De Huang knew that this was an incredibly difficult task. Apart from him, no one else could do it. Let's go. Jiang Chen led Long San, Xiaolong, and the others out of the Imperial Gardens. 3 days passed by in the blink of an eye. When Jiang Chen returned to the Imperial Gardens, De Huang's eyebrows were furrowed as he pondered over the formation. Have you finished studying it? Jiang Chen asked. Isn't that easy? Grandpa Dog is worth 2. You can do it, monkey. De Huang said arrogantly. Long San frowned, not bothering to pay him any attention. This formation is very complicated, and it requires a great deal of power to activate it. Only a Star Emperor can control it. However, with my intelligence, it doesn't matter even if there isn't a Star Emperor. As long as I have enough Source Stones, I will definitely be able to activate this formation. Give me 2 more days and I will definitely be able to complete it. De Huang said seriously. Good. I hope you won't disappoint me. Jiang Chen turned around and left. Where are you guys going, little Chenzi? De Huang asked anxiously. To kill the 2 Heavenly Enlightenment Planet envoys. Jiang Chen said with his back facing De Huang. F***CK. You left me alone again. Chapter 4662. Imperial Garden. Banquet Hall. Delicious food. Singing and dancing. Wang Feng and Wang Sun had satisfied expressions on their faces as they toasted each other. As envoys of the Heaven Awakened planet, the 2 of them did not have such good treatment on the Heaven Awakened planet. Although they were not at the bottom, they were only envoys and had the responsibility of receiving offerings. It was not a small position. However, being at the 4th heaven of Star Emperor was not enough for them to be all-powerful on the Heaven Awakened planet, which was the home planet of the Heaven Awakened star area. However, it was different outside. On a small planet like the Red Afterglow planet, they were invincible. Compared to planets with late-stage Star Emperors, they did not dare to be so unbridled. Now that they had good food and drinks, this kind of life was as good as it could be. This time, the 2 of them had mustered up their courage and asked for 250 million grade 5 origin stones. In reality, they hadn't raised the tributes at all. They had just asked for it without thinking. No one on planet Crimson Afterglow could go to the Heavenly Awakening planet, and there weren't any powerful figures there. They could only live in a corner for the rest of their lives. If they didn't make a fortune at this time, where would they find origin stones for their cultivation? The origin stones from the Heavenly Awakening planet weren't even enough to fill the gaps between their teeth. Big brother, do you think we're asking too much this time? That old guy Lin Zhuo can't take out that many origin stones? Why do I feel like my right eyelid keeps twitching? Did something happen? Wang Sun drank the wine in his cup in one gulp, feeling a little uneasy. What can happen to a small planet like planet Crimson Afterglow? The courageous will die of starvation, and the cowardly will die of hunger. We're wandering around the Heavenly Awakening planet with our lives in danger at any time. If we don't leave a way out for ourselves, wouldn't that be too much of a loss? 100 million origin stones will make us rich. When we become stronger and our status gets higher, who will care about how you cultivate? Wang Feng said. A man with a small heart is not a gentleman, and a man with a venomous heart is not a man. Only ruthlessness could establish a foothold in this world. As the ruler of planet Crimson Afterglow, if Lin Xueqi can't even take out 200 million origin stones, I don't believe it. Wang Feng played with a wine cup in his hand and laughed coldly. Unfortunately, we really can't take it out. At that moment, Jiang Chen showed up at the door, followed by Long Shan and Mu Yibai. Although they were only half a step away from the Star Emperor realm, they had nothing to fear as long as they followed Jiang Chen. Even if the road ahead was full of thorns, Long Shan never flinched. Who do you think you are? Did Lin Xueqi, that old dog, die? Tell him to come out and talk. Wang Sun snorted coldly and glanced at Jiang Chen disdainfully. You are not even a Star Emperor. How dare you show off in front of us? How could people nowadays be so arrogant to such an extent? In Wang Sun's eyes, Jiang Chen and the others were just ants. The days of delicious food and drinks have come to an end. I'm afraid you'll have to leave today. Jiang Chen said. Leave? He hadn't even obtained the origin stone yet, so how could he leave? Kid, don't blame me for not reminding you. You'd better disappear before I get angry. Otherwise, you can't imagine the consequences. Wang Sun scolded him angrily. I'm here today to see you off. You should have a safe journey to hell. Jiang Chen smiled faintly and said calmly. Wang Sun narrowed his eyes and then burst out laughing. It seems that this is what Lin Xueqi, that old dog, wants. It's not nice of him to send you guys to die. However, with just you guys? Repulsive? Ha, but this little girl is so beautiful. She's like a lotus flower out of the water. She's good enough. She's perfect to serve me. Wang Sun said with a sinister smile. You're courting death. Long Shan held the unparalleled magic stick in his hand. His eyes were full of anger, and his fighting spirit was soaring. You want to fight me? You're not qualified. Wang Sun sneered with disdain in his eyes. Kill. Jiang Chen stood up with his sword in hand. He took a step forward and slashed down furiously. The singers were scared out of their wits and scattered in all directions. Jiang Chen's sword and Long Shan's magic stick attacked at the same time. Mu Yibai supported them from the side with a murderous aura. Wang Sun sneered disdainfully. You don't know what's good for you. Today, I'll turn your Crimson Sunset planet into a river of blood. Facing the attacks from Jiang Chen and the others, Wang Feng didn't even bother to lift his eyelids and let Wang Sun attack. Get lost. Wang Sun let out a furious roar. Like a raging bull, he punched out with his iron fists, forcing Jiang Chen and Dragon Shan to retreat. The terrifying domineering force caused both of them to feel suffocated. Even Mu Yibai wasn't spared from the impact. He was swept away by the shockwaves, causing him to stagger back in an awkward manner. The power of one punch shook the mountains and rivers. This was the gap between their strengths. Jiang Chen's blood was boiling inside his body. This guy was much stronger than Xiao Bok. He was afraid that even 10 Xiao Bok wouldn't be a match for him. There were 4 heavens of Star Emperor. The first level was like the heaven and earth. It was overbearing and unparalleled. Little guys, you're like moths to a flame. That old dog Lin Xueqi sent you here to die. You really don't know what's good for you. Step by step, Wang Sun launched another attack. Jiang Chen, Dragon Shan and the others felt as if they were facing a formidable enemy. This time, they had to exert 120% of their strength to fight Wang Sun. The dragon transformation and ancient soaring dragon technique instantly boosted Jiang Chen's strength. Even so, he could only reach the 2nd heavenly layer of the Star Emperor realm. The heavenly dragon sword and limitless sword allowed him to reach the 3rd heavenly layer of the Star Lord realm. However, Wang Sun was just too strong. Jiang Chen attacked while Dragon Shan and Mu Yibai attacked. The 3 of them worked together seamlessly, but in the face of Wang Sun's relentless punches, they could only run and retreat. This was absolute strength. There were no tricks. Every move was natural. There were no tricks, no stagnation. Wang Sun's every move was fatal. He was determined to take the lives of Jiang Chen and the others. However, it was impossible for Wang Sun to kill Jiang Chen when he went all out. Even though Jiang Chen's steps were messy, with the 3 working together, he wouldn't lose instantly. Enough. If Planet Crimson Afterglow doesn't want to pay the tribute, then kill them. Wang Feng stood up slowly. His eyes were as cold as ice. You've gone too far. Today, I, Lin Xueqi, we'll fight to the death with you. All of a sudden, a golden figure dashed across the sky and attacked Wang Feng with a sword. You're just a bunch of ants. You're asking for it. Chapter 46-63. The majestic palace turned into dust in an instant. Numerous silhouettes rushed up to the peak of the sky. Wang Feng's aura was tyrannical, more than 30% stronger than Wang Sun's. Although there was only a layer of difference between them, Lin Zhuo found it extremely difficult. He clenched his teeth and fought against Wang Feng. Then take your origin stone and die. Wang Feng's imposing manner soared into the sky. Lin Zhuo found it hard to resist his every move. This kind of power was like Mount Tai pressing down on him. Compared to Jiang Chen and the others, Lin Zhuo seemed to be having a harder time. 25th sword. 26th sword. 27th sword. Jiang Chen's tyrannical sword soared through the clouds with an imposing manner. Unfortunately, his opponents were too strong. Wang Sun and Wang Feng didn't even need to use any moves. Their strength and imposing manner alone were enough to make people tremble in fear. Long Shan and Mu Yibai weren't true Star Emperor experts after all. They could only support Jiang Chen in this battle, and their effect was minimal. Jiang Chen had to exhaust all his strength to barely stabilize the situation. Unfortunately, they could only run for their lives in the face of Wang Sun's continuous attacks. Run! Jiang Chen shouted. The three of them quickly fled, and even Lin Zhuo retreated while fighting. These two envoys from the Apocalypse planet were too strong to resist. If they continued fighting, they would die without a doubt. Trying to run after acting tough? Haha, how can there be such a good thing? Wang Sun and Wang Feng chased closely, especially Jiang Chen, who was forced into a very difficult situation by Wang Sun. Good sword. This sword of yours is mine. Wang Sun's eyes grew brighter. In his opinion, this peerless Genesis weapon was not something that Jiang Chen deserved. Even he was excited, and his eyes shone brightly. In his hands, the sword would surely explode with even more terrifying power. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. You guys go first. Jiang Chen dismissed Long Shan and Mu Yibai and fled alone, cooperating with Lin Zhuo. Kill them. I don't believe that there aren't any Genesis stones on this vast planet, Wang Feng said in a low voice. Wang Feng said in a deep voice. At this moment, they were no longer envoys, they were bandits. In a world where only the strong were respected, killing and robbing was normal. The weak could only be bullied and humiliated. Jiang Chen and Lin Zhuo joined hands to fight against Wang Sun and Wang Feng. Unfortunately, they could only retreat step by step. In the long run, they couldn't hold on for too long. Mu Yibai gazed at Jiang Chen and Lin Zhuo from afar. Will Big Brother succeed? He has never failed, Long Shan said firmly. His eyes shone as he followed closely. At this time, the two of them could no longer catch up with Jiang Chen and Wang Sun. They could only rely on the two of them. Amidst the mountains, Jiang Chen and Lin Zhuo were heavily injured. It was extremely difficult for them. They kept rolling down the valley, unable to retreat or dodge. Mr. Jiang Chen, what should we do? Lin Zhuo said worriedly. His body was covered in blood, and he was in a much more sorry state than Jiang Chen. Don't worry, I'm here, Jiang Chen said in a low voice. I didn't expect you to have so many treasures in your hands, to be able to escape from my pursuit. I didn't expect that this trip to Planet Crimson Afterglow would be fruitful. Wang Sun sneered as he approached the valley. Jiang Chen used the sky ascending stairs to constantly teleport, changing his direction, making Wang Sun have a hard time chasing after him. However, even so, Jiang Chen couldn't escape from being heavily injured. If I don't give him some benefits, how could he take the bait? Let's finish this quickly. If we delay, something might happen. Wang Feng frowned. He felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what it was. On this weak Planet Crimson Afterglow, they were like gods. After killing these two, they could do whatever they wanted. All right. Wang Sun smiled evilly. He and Wang Feng dashed towards Jiang Chen and Lin Zhuo. At the moment when they were diving down the valley, Jiang Chen and Lin Zhuo suddenly disappeared. What happened? Where are they? Wang Feng and Wang Sun looked at each other as their hearts sank. How could these two disappear into thin air? Get out here. What kind of hero are you hiding? Don't think that I can't kill you on your Planet Crimson Afterglow. Wang Sun roared. I've never hidden, You just can't catch me. Jiang Chen smiled with a calm expression. He and Lin Zhua were already standing on the top of a mountain. Isn't it easy to die? You don't know what's good for you. Die. Wang Sun rose into the air, but was stopped in mid-air, unable to advance an inch. This is a formation, Wang Feng icily said, his gaze darting in all directions as his mind shook slightly. That's right. Now that you've entered my formation, the two of you can forget about escaping, said Jiang Chen with an indifferent expression. In an instant, the entire valley was completely covered. Strand after strand of Genesis Qi crisscrossed like a giant net, trapping the two within. Do you think you can trap us brothers with this broken formation of yours? What wishful thinking. Ha ha. Wang Sun punched out, wanting to break the formation. However, it was as if he had punched a soft beach. There was no result at all. There was no way to break the formation, causing the two of them to become nervous. I don't believe it. Wang Sun gnashed his teeth, but his heart was beating like a drum. Since you want Genesis stones, I'll give them all to you now. Jiang Chen held the heavenly dragon sword and swung it horizontally, triggering 18 sword shadows that instantly filled the air. Tens of millions of Genesis stones erupted with terrifying light, linking with 18 sixth-grade battle weapons to form a sword curtain that enveloped the entire valley. What a powerful formation! Wang Feng's face gradually turned cold. Humph! How strong can a formation set up by a 9th-layer Star Lord be? Wang Sun didn't think much of it and attacked again. But this time around, what he got in return were 19 sword shadows that pierced through the sky, rushing towards Wang Sun. Wang Sun sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't expect these sword shadows to be so terrifying. Watch out! Wang Feng's palm struck Wang Sun's body, barely dodging the attack. He couldn't help but feel a cold breeze on his back. Both of them wore grim expressions. They didn't expect an unknown boy to be able to set up such a terrifying formation. Moreover, the formation was very costly, at least tens of millions of 5th-grade Genesis stones. At that moment, Lin Zhua finally understood why Jiang Chen asked him for Genesis stones. It turned out that it was to set up a formation. This scene made Lin Zhua gasp in amazement. I don't have enough Genesis stones. It's too difficult to deal with the two of them. I can only use this move. 50 million Genesis stones. This formation can last them for a day and a night. Chapter 46-64. Ashura Sword Formation. Activate. Jiang Chen moved like a tiger or a dragon. The formation was unbreakable, and 50 million source stones were the source of the formation's energy. Streaks of sword qi pierced through the air from all directions. The two of them had no choice but to use their full strength, but the sword qi was endless. The supply of 50 million origin stones ensured that the Shura sword formation would continue to attack. In less than 15 minutes, Wang Sun was starting to run out of stamina. There were 19 peerless swords, and even the two of them were extremely wary of them. Lin Zhua kept nodding, full of praise for Jiang Chen. He was overjoyed to see Wang Feng and Wang Sun in such a sorry state. Asshole! This damned formation! Wang Sun cursed. However, as time went by, he felt like he was fighting death with every passing second. At this rate, he wouldn't be able to hold on for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn out. Brother, I can't hold on any longer. Wang Sun's face turned pale. He was sweating profusely as he resisted the sword aura from all directions. A sense of fear rose in his heart. He never thought he would lose to a guy at the 9th sky of the Star-Lord realm. Do you think I'll be fine? Wang Feng said in a low voice, enunciating each word with great difficulty. These two guys had pretended to be weak and lured them into the gorge, setting up an inescapable net. Furthermore, they had used 50 million origin stones to construct this formation. Even they felt their hearts ache. This was too extravagant, too terrifying, wasn't it? It's been so many years. The Ashura sword formation has finally reappeared. No one has ever escaped from my Ashura sword formation. Jiang Chen was extremely confident. It took him 3 days and 3 nights to complete the Shura formation. He relied on the canyon, 50 million origin stones and 19 peerless combat swords to complete the formation. You can rest in peace here. Jiang Chen's eyes were cold and full of murderous intent. At this moment, even Lin Zhua at the 3rd sky of the Star Emperor realm didn't dare to be careless. Jiang Chen was much more terrifying than he had imagined. Let us out. Lin Zhua, you're courting death. If anything happens to us, Planet Crimson Afterglow will definitely be destroyed by your hands. Wang Feng and Wang Sun couldn't hold on any longer. Jiang Chen's Ashura sword formation was too dreadful. The valleys were scattered all over like stars in the sky, and the formation was ever-changing. It was more than enough to fight against experts in the fourth sky of the Star Emperor realm like them. Even experts in the fifth sky of the Star Emperor realm might not be able to walk out of this formation alive. In the eyes of Wang Feng and the other man, Jiang Chen was like a demon. His cold smile made them shiver for the first time. Lin Zhua was silent. In for a penny, in for a pound. When he conspired with Jiang Chen, he was already prepared. He would rather die in glory than live in disgrace. Since he had already fought with his life on the line, even if he let them go at this time, how could they let him go? Old dog Lin Zhua, you will definitely regret this. The Heaven Awakened planet won't let you off. Wang Feng roared hysterically, but it didn't help. The layers of sword chi were getting stronger and stronger, while they were getting weaker and weaker. The Ashura sword formation was the judgment of Ashura, a huge net of life and death that they couldn't break. Jiang Chen held the Sky Dragon sword and stabilized the formation eye. Sword shadows were wreaking havoc in the sky. Wang Feng and Wang Sun were finally exhausted by the formation. They struggled for 4 hours, but they were still killed by the Ashura sword formation, and their heads were separated from their bodies. The valley was covered with a bloody mist. Jiang Chen put away his sword and stood there, panting. At this moment, Lin Zhua finally let out a sigh of relief. Jiang Chen was the real Demon King. Mr. Jiang Chen, I, Lin Zhua, cannot thank you enough. I thank you on behalf of everyone in the world. Lin Zhua knelt on one knee and said with a serious expression. As the ruler of a country, he shouldn't do this, but he knelt on behalf of the people in the world. If it wasn't for Jiang Chen, he would only be able to plunder from the people in order to get enough origin stones. This kindness was higher than the sky and deeper than the sea. Your Majesty, there's no need to be so polite. It was them who bullied us too much. Kill these 2 dogs. Not only will the people of Planet Crimson Afterglow be able to live a good life, but we also won't have to suffer this kind of humiliation. Jiang Chen smiled calmly. Jiang Chen stretched out his hand and took the 2 spatial rings from the bottom of the mountain. These 2 people were envoys of the Apocalypse planet, so they must have a lot of good things on them. Jiang Chen erased their soul imprints. When he grabbed the 2 spatial rings, he was completely shocked. There were 800 million grade 5 origin stones in their hands, and there were even 2 million grade 6 origin stones. This was an astronomical number. Jiang Chen took a deep breath, but he couldn't get rid of the shock in his heart. Your Majesty, it would be impolite for me to refuse these spatial rings. Jiang Chen smiled, suppressing the shock in his heart. Lin Zhua nodded and didn't mind. No matter how many treasures there were in the spatial rings, they were what Jiang Chen deserved. He didn't feel that it was unfair. If it wasn't for Jiang Chen, Planet Crimson Afterglow would have experienced a calamity. To him and the people, it was unimaginable. I can't stay here for long. I think it's time for me to leave. Jiang Chen nodded and said. The 2 of them returned to the Imperial Garden. De Huang was still studying the formation, and Long Shersan and Mu Yibai were excited when they saw Jiang Chen return safely. It seems that the 2 envoys of the Apocalypse planet are dead, Long Shersan said with a burning gaze. Not bad, and the harvest is not small. Jiang Chen directly gave Long Shersan 100 million grade 5 origin stones. Long Shersan was dumbfounded on the spot. This many grade 5 origin stones was enough for him and Mu Yibai to cultivate to the peak of the Star Emperor realm. It was more than enough. F***CK. We're rich. We're rich. Long Shersan didn't hold back, and his eyes lit up. The moment Mu Yibai found out, he was so shocked that he couldn't speak for a long time. Xiaolong was no exception. Jiang Chen also gave him 100 million grade 5 origin stones. The little guy was overjoyed. Jiang Chen knew that his cultivation couldn't be delayed either. Moreover, his talent was definitely not below De Huang and Long Shersan. The potential of the eternal indestructible body was even greater than he had imagined. Thank you, big brother. Xiaolong's eyes were slightly wet. This many grade 5 origin stones were enough for him to cultivate to the peak of the Star Emperor realm. We're brothers. There's no need to thank me. Jiang Chen patted Xiaolong's shoulder and said. He knew that both Long Shersan and De Huang regarded him as their brother. He couldn't fall behind them. From now on, he had to cultivate even harder. What is it? I want it too. I want it too. De Huang pricked up his ears and ran to Jiang Chen. Don't worry. You'll get it. Chapter 46-65. How's the teleportation array going? Jiang Chen asked solemnly. This was the most important thing. Whether they could leave planet Crimson Afterglow depended on the teleportation array. Don't worry. How could Lord Dog not do it? We'll be able to leave here tomorrow morning. Just wait and see. De Huang said confidently. De Huang didn't sleep the entire night. He was busy studying the teleportation array. It wouldn't be easy to leave planet Crimson Afterglow and reach planet Tianqi. At this moment, the Imperial Garden was filled with people. Lin Zhua was at the front and Lin Tianlin was at the side. The 4 prefectures and 1 battalion lords were all here to send Jiang Chen off. To them, Jiang Chen was their savior. They would never forget his kindness. Sister, you must come back to see me in the future. Mu Yizhi hugged her sister tightly. Her eyes were filled with tears. Don't worry. I will. Mu Yibai's eyes were red. She didn't know when she would be able to return. However, she couldn't bear to part with her sister. No. One day, I will leave this place and go to planet Tianqi to find you. Brother Jiang Chen, De Huang, brother-in-law, and you, Xiaolong. Wait for me. I will definitely come to find you. Zi said solemnly. She wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and looked into her sister's eyes for a long time. Teacher, Tianlin still has a lot to learn from you. From now on, Tianlin will work hard. One day, I want to be like you. Lin Tianlin said solemnly. Good. I believe in you. Jiang Chen nodded. People strive for higher things. Mr. Jiang Chen, with my help, you will have a meteoric rise. There will always be people waiting for you on planet Crimson Afterglow. Lin Zhua nodded solemnly. His heart was heavy. One day I will come back. Everyone, let's meet again if fate allows it. Jiang Chen bid farewell to everyone, and the group of 5 stepped onto the teleportation array, preparing to leave planet Crimson Afterglow. Jiang Chen gazed at the vast land of the Crimson Afterglow planet. His heart was filled with emotions. The moment he left the divine world, he followed his brothers to the eternal world, and when they parted ways, he stepped into the Crimson Afterglow planet. Today, he was finally going to embark on his journey again, because there was still no news of Feng, Jiang Chen absolutely could not stop his footsteps. As a father, that kind of worry and sigh was something that no one could understand. Activate the formation, De Huang. Jiang Chen said. All right, let's take off to planet Heaven Awaken, he. De Huang activated the array formation. Next stop, planet Tianqi. Jiang Chen and the others were quite excited. Of course, Mu Yibai's heart was filled with anticipation. After all, she had left her father and sister, and this was the first time she had traveled so far away. Perhaps it would be 100 years or even 1,000 years before she returned. Chi, what's going on? Jiang Chen frowned, looking very serious. Oh no, there might be a problem with the formation. De Huang's heart sank, and he said, gritting his teeth. Damn it, dog, do you want to kill us all? Once there's a problem with the formation, what if we die in this universe? Even star emperors can't pass through the universe. Longshan rolled his eyes. Do you think I want to? De Huang mumbled, but he knew that once there was a problem with the formation, anything could happen to them. Let's not talk so much. Just maintain the formation. It's useless to talk about this now. Jiang Chen said with a serious face. Let me try. De Huang said. The next moment, De Huang hurried to control the formation, but he couldn't do it no matter what. I said before that this formation can only be controlled by a Star Emperor, and it needs the power of the Star Emperor. I thought I could use Source Stones instead, but, what's going on? Xiaolong asked, looking surprised. I can't control the formation anymore, which means, we are likely to be annihilated in the vast universe. If we're lucky, we don't know where we'll be sent to. De Huang smiled bitterly, and his heart sank. In an instant, everyone fell silent. I'm sorry, little Chenzi. I didn't mean it. De Huang's voice was very low. He didn't want to do this, but he still hurt everyone in the end. No one is blaming Yub. Longshan said. He was just joking with De Huang. Don't worry. It'll be fine. Jiang Chen smiled. At this moment, he also tried to control the formation, but it didn't work no matter how many times he tried. As time went by, the sound of the formation getting louder and louder, like a small boat that could break at any time. Let's hold hands. We'll be fine. Mu Yibai took Long Shersan and De Huang's hands, and they held each other's hands tightly. However, Jiang Chen had a bad feeling about this. He hoped that it was just his imagination. Suddenly, a white light flashed. Everyone closed their eyes because the light was too bright, and they couldn't open their eyes at all. Jiang Chen's heart sank. He knew that what was going to happen had finally happened. No, Xiaolong screamed at the top of his lungs, but his voice was getting weaker and weaker in Jiang Chen's ears. He felt like the sky was spinning and the earth was spinning. Dazzling lights could be seen in front of him. There was no one around him. Jiang Chen felt as if he had gone through thousands of reincarnations. Finally, he fell from the sky and smashed into a huge mountain, creating a huge hole in it. Jiang Chen stretched his body and jumped out of the mountain stream. He stood on the mountain peak and looked around. His heart was extremely gloomy. No matter what he saw, De Huang, Long Shersan, Mu Yibai, and Xiaolong were no longer here. Where is this? Jiang Chen murmured. In the distance, the boundless Tsang Mountain Range stretched on endlessly. Other than the Tsang Mountain Range, there was only the earth, the rivers, and the lush forests. Other than that, there was nothing else. This place was more like an uninhabited, primitive land that was rarely visited. The sun had just risen, but its light was extremely dim. It was even darker than a rainy day, and there was a damp smell in the air. Jiang Chen looked around, trying to find traces of De Huang, Long Shersan, and the others. Unfortunately, he found nothing. A woo. The howl of a wild wolf echoed through the mountains. The world here seemed to be between darkness and light. Jiang Chen's heart was pounding, and he was filled with doubts. Where was this place? Was it some corner of the Crimson Dawn planet? Was it the uninhabited region of the Heavenly Enlightenment planet? Or was it a region he didn't even know about? Sigh, this damned formation. De Huang, De Huang. UF** King tricked me. Jiang Chen smiled bitterly, his face full of worry. However, he had to find a way out as soon as possible. At the very least, he had to know where he was. Chapter 46-66. Their bodies, which were hundreds of feet long, kept roaring and rushing in the sky, blocking out the sun and the sky. Explosions were heard in the dim sky. The two silhouettes smashed into several mountains in succession, causing the mountains to tremble and rocks to tumble down. They crushed the ancient trees that were thousands of years old and drew a terrifying arc between the mountain streams and the dense forest. So powerful. Jiang Chen squinted his eyes slightly. He could not help but feel a chill in his heart. Both of them were extremely powerful. Both of them were above the fourth heaven of the Star Emperor realm. Their huge bodies were awe-inspiring. The mountains set off their strong and vigorous figures. The fierceness of the battle was completely beyond Jiang Chen's imagination. Even he felt his blood was boiling while watching it. This kind of life-or-death battle was frightening and dangerous. They seemed to be two dragons, Jiang Chen murmured. However, those two ferocious beasts were completely different from the dragons he knew. One of them was like a lion with mottled antlers on its head. The other one was bloated, similar to the divine dragons in the divinity realm. However, its body was shorter and thicker, and there was something like a desert cistanche growing on its head. Jiang Chen could only speculate that those two beasts looked like dragons, but they were not. Even he did not know where they came from. Jiang Chen watched from afar. The battle between the two demonic beasts was very fierce and destructive. Jiang Chen watched with great interest, because he could learn a lot of skills and experience from the battle between the two Star Emperor experts. At least, it would give him a better understanding of the existences in this place. Edited by Lifer. Fingerfox. Seconds and minutes passed. The collision between the two of them was extremely fierce. Both of them had suffered extremely heavy injuries. Compared to their previous charge, they were much weaker. Xiao, you have no way out. I advise you to give up the Zhongshan milk. Otherwise, I'm afraid you're going to die here, the fat dragon with antlers said with a cold smile. The fat dragon with the antlers of a deer laughed coldly as he spoke in the human language. His voice reverberated around the mountain, creating a deafening sound. In your dreams, Claude. Even if I die, I will not give you the Zhongshan milk. You better keep your naivety. Xiao coldly snorted. Her voice was incomparably gloomy. She had gone through untold hardships, traversing countless mountains and roofs, and was lucky enough to obtain the Zhongshan milk. But at this moment, it had become the talisman that hastened her death. Claude came out at this time to snatch her harvest. She would never let this matter go. Zhong mountain milk was much more precious than origin stones, and it was hard to find one even in 1,000 years. A fist-sized piece of Zhong mountain milk was worth tens of millions of grade 5 origin stones. Its value was self-evident. Even the tribute that Planet Awakening demanded from Planet Crimson Cloud was only 100 million grade 5 origin stones. The piece of Zhong mountain milk that Xiao obtained was definitely worth no less than that, which was why Claude's eyes were red. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. He, you guys who don't know what's good for you always think that you're infallible. You can't escape from my palm. In fact, I want to be with you, Princess Xiao. Unfortunately, you're too selfish, so I can only come up with this plan. Good things naturally belong to those who are capable. Roar. Claude let out 2 furious roars and madly charged forward. He was determined to kill her. The Zhong mountain milk must not fall into her hands. Dream on. You robber, I, Jin Xiao, would rather die than surrender. If you want the Zhong mountain milk, I won't give it to you even if I die. Since you want it so much, then let's die together. Jin Xiao's hysterical rage shocked Claude even more. Their strength was about the same. Although he could suppress her, he would have to pay a huge price to kill her. He didn't want to injure the enemy while injuring himself. Go to hell. Claude's ferocious attacks gave Jin Xiao an enormous pressure. Lightning bolts shot out from his mouth. The dark blue lightning bolts struck Jin Xiao's body, causing her to be in extreme pain. She howled in pain as she retreated step by step. Although both of them had already suffered heavy injuries, Jin Xiao was clearly in a more difficult situation. Claude's strength was extremely terrifying. It wouldn't be easy for her to perish together with him. With a dignified expression, Jiang Chen watched all of this. Initially, he didn't want to be a busybody, but this guy called Claude had gone too far. Furthermore, he needed to have a better understanding of this world. Therefore, he didn't hesitate to attack. Bang! The confrontation between the two seemed to be surging, but in fact, both of them were like arrows at the end of their flight. Otherwise, Jiang Chen wouldn't have taken such a risk if he didn't have absolute confidence. He didn't know if there were any unpredictable dangers here. Therefore, the opportunity that Jiang Chen found was perfect. He wanted to take advantage of the fact that both of them were injured so that they wouldn't be a threat anymore. Piss off! Jiang Chen slashed out with his sword. Cold light shot out in all directions, like a flying sword from the heavens. It traversed 800 zhong and forced Claude to retreat. Claude's expression suddenly changed. He rolled down the cliff and slammed into the cliff. He was in an awkward situation, cursing in his heart. That slash had made his injuries even more serious. His expression froze as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Mother ***, who is it? Who dares to ruin my business? Claude roared angrily, his 2 large nostrils panting heavily. It's you? Claude gazed at Jiang Chen in the sky. He didn't expect to be pushed back by a 9th Sky Star Lord. It was a great humiliation. Asshole, I'm going to kill you. Claude became even more furious. He would rather die than be humiliated. If word got out that he lost to a 9th Sky Star Lord trash, how could he live in the future? Brother, run, you're no match for him, Jin Xiao said nervously. This unknown guy in front of her was only a 9th Sky Star Lord. How could he be a match for Claude? If he hadn't caught him off guard and had her own counterattack, he wouldn't have been able to fight against Claude. She knew that her life was in danger. She wouldn't feel at ease if she dragged others into this. A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although Claude was seriously injured, he wasn't someone who could be shaken by anyone below the Star Emperor realm. It doesn't matter. I can't just stand by when I see injustice. Jiang Chen stood with his sword in his hand. He looked straight ahead and met Claude's eyes. He gripped the heavenly dragon's sword tightly. The atmosphere was extremely tense and could erupt at any moment. Brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, die. Chapter 46-67. Jiang Chen was not afraid at all, nor did he take Jin Xiaoxiao's advice to heart. 2 streaks of light dashed forward again. Jiang Chen's figure was tiny compared to Claude's, but he shot forward like a shooting star. Beams of sword radiance surged, and the borderless sword pierced through the sky and earth. With Jiang Chen's current strength, he could easily defeat a cultivator at the second sky of the Star Emperor realm. A seriously injured guy was not even as good as a chicken. There was no reason for him to retreat. Jiang Chen charged forward step by step with a shocking momentum. Not only Claude, but even Jin Xiaoxiao was dumbfounded. How could this guy be so fierce? He did not look like a cultivator at the 9th sky of the Star-Lord realm at all. His overbearing strength was astounding, and no one dared to underestimate him. Claude advanced cautiously at every step. He had completely fallen into a passive position. Facing Jiang Chen's borderless sword, he could not fight back at all. It was obvious who was stronger. Damn it! You little brat! The mountains never change, and the rivers never stop flowing. Let's wait and see. I won't let you go! Claude roared furiously. He retreated after striking out, and no longer hesitated. If he continued fighting with Jiang Chen, he would die for sure once Jin Xiaoxiao regained her consciousness. Claude was stronger than him, so he did not intend to fight with Jiang Chen at all. He turned around and ran away right away. Even Jiang Chen was taken aback. This guy did not have the burden of being a Star Emperor at all. He would run when he needed to run, and would never linger in a fight. Claude had run away. Jiang Chen naturally did not intend to chase him to death. He just wanted to know what kind of world this was and where he was. Seeing Claude running away in embarrassment, Jin Xiaoxiao let out a long sigh of relief. She had finally dodged a bullet. Of course, she did not expect Jiang Chen, a guy at the 9th sky of the Star-Lord realm, to kill Claude. Once Claude fought to the death, Jiang Chen would not be able to gain any advantage. Brother, thank you for saving my life. Jin Xiaoxiao pays her respects. With a shake of her body, Jin Xiaoxiao turned into a white-clothed woman. However, more than half of her body was covered in blood. Her charming face was rather pale, but it still couldn't cover her stunning appearance and charming posture. That frosty arrogance was also extremely domineering. However, she didn't reject Jiang Chen. After all, Jiang Chen was her savior. It's no trouble at all. Anyone else would have stepped forward bravely. Miss, you don't have to be so courteous. Jiang Chen shook his head with a smile. Xiaoxiao will never forget brother's kindness. Jin Xiaoxiao said. Jiang Chen had stepped forward bravely with the strength of a 9th heaven Star-Lord. He had already cast aside his own life and death. How could such a righteous act not be touching? May I ask, Miss Xiaoxiao, where is this place? Jiang Chen said. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen in surprise and covered her mouth in disbelief. Aren't you from Ancient Dragon Planet? Ancient Dragon Planet? Jiang Chen frowned. It seemed that he had indeed been separated from De Huang and the others. The teleportation array had suddenly failed and he had been teleported to an unknown astral boundary. This place wasn't Tianqi Planet at all. That's right. This is Ancient Dragon Planet. How did you get here? No one has been here for tens of thousands of years. Even people from Tianqi Planet can't get here. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen suspiciously. If Jiang Chen hadn't saved her, she would have captured Jiang Chen and interrogated him. I see. It's good that I'm still in Tianqi Planet. Jiang Chen heaved a sigh of relief. To tell you the truth, my friend and I activated the teleportation array to go to Tianqi Planet. However, something happened to the array on the way and we were teleported to different places. I don't know if they are in Ancient Dragon Planet or where they are. Jiang Chen's expression was bitter. Oh, in that case you were teleported here by accident. Jin Xiaoxiao said. Did you just say that no one has entered this place for tens of thousands of years? What happened then? Jiang Chen was filled with curiosity, but he also had a feeling of unease in his heart. Tens of thousands of years ago, the big forces of the Ancient Dragon Planet had an earth-shattering battle. In the end, the teleportation array was destroyed. Even the elites of the Tianqi Planet can't come here. Only the legendary stellar-level elites can come here. Otherwise, we can't get out, and people from other astral realms can't get in. Jin Xiaoxiao shrugged and said indifferently. For her, it might not matter, but for Jiang Chen, it was a fatal blow. Jiang Chen had a dejected look on his face as he murmured, In other words, it is impossible to leave the ancient dragon star planet without reaching the eternal star realm? In theory, yes. Jin Xiaoxiao said confidently. Since we are already here, we should take things as they come. There will always be a way. We shouldn't be so depressed. Jin Xiaoxiao was very magnanimous as she patted Jiang Chen's shoulder. Jiang Chen was slightly taken aback, but he immediately felt relieved. At this time, there was indeed no other way. He could only take one step at a time. Does that mean you have a way to help me leave this place and go to the Tianqi planet? Jiang Chen squinted his eyes slightly. No. Jin Xiaoxiao shrugged her shoulders. Her eyes were filled with hope and yearning as she murmured, I want to see the Tianqi planet too. I heard that the Tianqi Galaxy City is the most beautiful place on the entire Tianqi planet. I must go see it in this lifetime. Jiang Chen rolled his eyes. What she said was equivalent to not saying anything. This girl seemed to be very ambitious, but in order to find Feng, Big Yellow, Dragon Shersan and the others, he was worried about their safety. That will only be possible when you reach the Eternal Star Realm. Don't forget about me then. Jiang Chen laughed at himself. Don't worry, I, Jin Xiaoxiao, am definitely not an ungrateful person. Ha ha ha. By the way, what is your name? Jiang Chen. De Jiang Rukin. Not bad, a good name. This is your first time coming to the ancient Dragon Star, so let me introduce you. Anyway, you can't leave this place in a short period of time. Follow me. I will definitely treat you well. Jin Xiaoxiao patted her towering chest and said. She looked carefree and calm, without any arrogance, as if she was treating Jiang Chen as her little brother, completely getting along well with Jiang Chen. Okay. Chapter 4668. The ancient dragon star is the 9th astral realm in the Tianqi star area. I heard from the older generation that the ancient dragon star used to be an all-powerful existence in the Tianqi star area. However, there was a civil war and the teleportation formation was destroyed. Our ancient dragon star became a barren land in the universe. Even so, the 4 forces of the ancient dragon star are at loggerheads with each other and do not give in. I forgot to tell you that this place is called the ancient dragon star because it is the world of dragons. Jin Xiaoxiao said. The world of dragons? Jiang Chen was getting more and more curious. No wonder Jin Xiaoxiao and Claude both looked like dragon-shaped demonic beasts. That's right. The 4 dragon tribes control the 4 directions of the ancient dragon star. I am from the Golden Dragon tribe. We like peace but we are forced to fight again and again. There is also the proud Sky Dragon tribe. They are the favorites of the sky and are famous for their speed. No dragon tribe can compete with them. There is also the Dinosaur tribe, which is Claude. He is a Caramay dragon. The Dinosaur tribe is the most diverse among the dragon tribe. The real king is the Lightning Tyrant dragon. And finally, the Dragon Clan, the Eternal Dragon Clan, the leader of the 4 clans. They are the true kings. What? There is an Eternal Dragon tribe here? Jiang Chen took a deep breath. He did not expect that there would be an Eternal Dragon tribe in the world of dragons. You don't have to be surprised. The Eternal Dragon tribe is just a small branch of the strongest Eternal Dragon tribe in the universe. Because of this, they are unable to convince the masses, which led to the outbreak of a race war. The ancient dragon star was also in deep trouble. Jin Xiaoxiao could not help but feel emotional. If it was not for the war between the races, she would have been chasing her dream of becoming a powerhouse on the Tianqi star. It seems that the ancient dragon star is really a terrifying place. Jiang Chen said with a sigh. There were no people here, only countless dragons. Jiang Chen believed that neither Jin Xiaoxiao nor Claude, who had run away, could be considered true experts. Planet Crimson Afterglow was ranked last in the Heaven Awakened Starfield, while Ancient Dragon Star was ranked in the top 10 of the Heaven Awakened Starfield, so it must be much more terrifying than Planet Crimson Afterglow. The Eternal Dragon race caused Jiang Chen's expression to turn serious. They were one of the strongest races in the universe, and they were definitely not to be trifled with. Apart from me, who else has come to your ancient dragon star? Jiang Chen looked at Jin Xiaoxiao. Jin Xiaoxiao shook her head. She was very interested in Jiang Chen. After all, Jiang Chen did not come from the ancient dragon star. At least, he could give her some understanding of the outside world. The vast universe was full of mysteries and mysteries. Her dream was to explore the universe and become a real universe wanderer. The 2 of them chatted as they rushed toward the Golden Dragon territory. Ahead is the territory of the Golden Dragon tribe. Jin Xiaoxiao pointed at the mountain range in front of them and said with a smile. The Genesis Qi here was indeed very rich, and the mountains were steep. Birds were singing and flowers were fragrant. It was indeed much better than the place where he had landed. The Golden Dragon tribe had treated this place as their base and lived here for generations. It was obvious that this place was extraordinary. Aunt Jean is back. Your Highness, you've become even more beautiful. Ha! Aunt Jean, look, it's Aunt Jean. Aunt Jean, I love you. From time to time, voices could be heard echoing in the mountains and forests, causing Jin Xiaoxiao to giggle. It was obvious that she was already used to it. Jiang Chen was curious. The elusive figures were mostly peak star lords or initial star emperors. As he followed Jin Xiaoxiao, he sensed at least 100 auras of star emperors. Claude had previously said that she was a princess. It seemed that Jin Xiaoxiao's status in the dragon tribe was not low. Our Golden Dragon clan is divided into 4 major clans: Azure Dragon, White Dragon, Red Dragon, and Golden Dragon. I am the princess of the Golden Dragon clan. I'm the princess of the Golden Dragon tribe. Jin Xiaoxiao could see Jiang Chen's confusion and explained with a smile. Why did Aunt Jean bring a man back? Yes, who is this man? He doesn't look strong. Is he a gigolo raised by Aunt? Ha! Don't talk nonsense. Be careful or Aunt will tear your mouth apart. Shoo! Many people were suspicious of Jiang Chen's identity. After all, as the princess of the Golden Dragon tribe, Jin Xiaoxiao's status was not something ordinary people could compare to. She was very prominent even on Ancient Dragon Star. Don't mind those gossips. Just follow me in the future. Jin Xiaoxiao did not seem to care at all. She seemed to be very straightforward and did not mind at all. She completely ignored the gossip of her tribe members. Jiang Chen went with the flow. Since he did not even care about the princess of the Golden Dragon tribe, what was there for a man like him to worry about? I'll bring you to see my father, Jin Xiaoxiao said. The two of them entered the territory of the Golden Dragon tribe. They were surrounded by mountains, birds were chirping, flowers were fragrant, and a small river flowed by. It was really a secluded place. Clear springs flowed above the rocks and it was very beautiful. There were thatched cottages of different styles everywhere in the mountains. There were all kinds of people and they were all part of the dragon tribe. They don't live in the mountains. Even the dragon tribe likes to transform into human form. Not only is it beautiful, but it also reduces energy consumption. They will only show their true form when they are in battle. Jin Xiaoxiao explained to Jiang Chen continuously. Your Highness, the old tribe leader has been waiting for you in the mountain hall for a long time. A calm-looking young man stood with his hands behind his back and said softly. His eyes were cold and sharp like a sword. He was very majestic and his strength was not any weaker than Jin Xiaoxiao's. Behind him, there were 4 burly men with serious expressions on their faces, and they were meticulous and meticulous. Who is he? The man stared at Jiang Chen coldly with a hint of killing intent in his eyes. He was aggressive. Jiang Chen was unconcerned. He had never lost to anyone in terms of aura. Even if someone was much stronger than him, it was impossible for them to suppress him with their aura. He's my friend, Jin Xiaoxiao said. Friend? Doesn't your Highness know that the Golden Dragon tribe is not allowed to bring outsiders in? He shouldn't be one of us, right? The man Leng Lung said. He seemed to be very hostile towards Jiang Chen. However, he was full of admiration towards Jin Xiaoxiao. When he saw this outsider chatting happily with Jin Xiaoxiao, he was infuriated. I know. However, it's not up to you to interfere in such matters. Lead the way, Feng Tong. Chapter 46-69. As the deputy commander of the Golden Dragon Tribe's guard team, this is my duty. Your Highness shouldn't make things difficult for me. The coldness on Feng Tong's face didn't decrease at all. Even if she was the princess of the Golden Dragon Tribe, he wouldn't hesitate. You've gone too far, Feng Tong. Jin Xiaoxiao gritted her teeth. Let him come in. On top of the mountain peak, an indifferent voice sounded out from the mountain palace. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen with a smile on her face. She grabbed Jiang Chen's hand and brought him to the mountain palace. At this moment, Feng Tong's expression turned even uglier. The two of them were actually holding hands? And he said it was okay? Jean Xiaoxiao was the princess of the Golden Dragon tribe. She was the goddess of many people. But, brat, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You're courting death. Feng Tong glared at Jiang Chen's back. Jiang Chen had an innocent face. Who did I offend? Do you think I wanted to come to this damn place? I also want to go to the Tianqi planet, but reality won't allow me. Miss Jean, I just want you to help me check the teleportation formation. Next time, don't use me as a shield. I'm weak. I've made too many enemies in your dragon tribe. I'm afraid I won't even know how I died. Jiang Chen said with a frown. He could clearly see through Jean Xiaoxiao's intention, which was to make Feng Tong's expression turn ugly. Ha ha ha, it's a misunderstanding. You should feel honored that your highness is holding your hand. No one else in the dragon tribe has this kind of treatment. Jean Xiaoxiao's honesty and cheerfulness made Jiang Chen speechless. Her carefree personality made it hard for people to get angry. Plus, Jiang Chen had a favor to ask of Jean Xiaoxiao. You win. Jiang Chen shrugged. Jiang Chen followed Jean Xiaoxiao into the Zhongshan Palace. The magnificent palace was antique. There were no decorative beams or painted rafters, but it was full of traces of vicissitudes of life. Everywhere was majestic. In the main hall, a middle-aged man with a dignified appearance was sitting. He was very powerful. Jiang Chen couldn't see through his face, but he was sure that the man was above the seventh sky of the Star Emperor realm. Such a powerful man was indeed undefeatable. The middle-aged man's aura was forceful and domineering, but the moment he saw Jean Xiaoxiao, his face was filled with love. Father! Jean Xiaoxiao quickly walked up to Jiang Chen and said with an excited expression on her face. We are not allowed to bring any outsiders into the clan. What if he is a spy from the other 3 clans? Exactly. Your Highness is being too presumptuous. This is the Zhongshan Hall, the meeting hall of our Golden Dragon clan. Clan leader, I suggest that we get rid of this fellow as soon as possible to calm the hearts of our Dragon clan's people. That's right. Kill them and be quick. Those who are not of our Dragon clan must have a different heart. Clan leader. Each of the 4 great elders had a serious expression on their faces. They had given the order to kill Jiang Chen, an uninvited guest. Jean Xiaoxiao remained calm. She said in a deep voice, This is my new friend. His name is Jiang Chen. If it weren't for him, I might not have been able to go home. What's going on? Jean Yiba squinted his eyes and looked at Jiang Chen and Jean Xiaoxiao. This young man's strength was not yet at the Star Emperor realm, but he was fearless. Interesting. Jiang Chen was as still as a mountain. With Jean Xiaoxiao here, he didn't believe that these barbarians would dare to kill him. At this moment, the Black King had already started cultivating. He could only rely on himself. However, with the sky ascending stairway, even this Golden Dragon clan leader might not be able to do anything to him. However, unless it was a life-and-death situation, Jiang Chen wouldn't fall out with him. After all, he was in someone else's territory. He didn't want to offend the Dragon clan. He just wanted to leave this place as soon as possible and go to the Apocalypse planet to find a Huang and the others. It's the dinosaur clan. I found a piece of Zhongshan milk in a barren mountain. Claude, that scum of the dinosaur race, tried to rob it and almost killed me. Luckily, Jiang Chen was there to save me. He is my savior. That's right. Jean Xiaoxiao stood in front of Jiang Chen, blocking his path, as if she was protecting him behind her. The dinosaur clan. Jean Yiba frowned and his face was gloomy. His daughter almost died outside. The dinosaur clan had gone too far. These bastards. One day, I'll grind their bones to ashes. Jean Yiba's voice was like a great bell, resounding through the mountain hall. The 4 elders also kept quiet out of fear, not daring to say a word. This matter was of great importance. It was related to Jean Xiaoxiao's safety, the dinosaur clan's revolt, and the reputation and prestige of the Golden Dragon clan. Since you're here, take things as they come. Since you're Xiaoxiao's savior, the Golden Dragon clan welcomes you. But remember, if you have any ulterior motives, I won't let you go. Jean Yiba was incomparably majestic and overbearing. Jiang Chen remained calm and collected. He was just a passerby. He knew better than Jean Yiba that he didn't want to have anything to do with the people and matters here. If it didn't concern him, he would just ignore it. The Blood Dragon Pool will open in 3 days. You must be prepared. As a member of the Golden Dragon clan, Don't let others look down on us. Understood, father. After Jin Xiaoxiao paid her respects to her father, she left the mountain hall with Jiang Chen. The Blood Dragon Pool is the ancient land of the Golden Dragon clan. I'll take you there. How about it? Isn't it nice? Maybe you can also use this chance to break through to the Star Emperor realm. Jin Xiaoxiao said. The ancient land of the Golden Dragon clan. It sounds interesting. Jiang Chen rubbed his nose and said. However, he was most concerned about the teleportation formation. Let's go. I'll take you to the teleportation formation. Jin Xiaoxiao was swift and decisive. She didn't hesitate at all. The two of them came to a deserted mountain. In the Dragon Clan, where birds sang and flowers bloomed, they found a place like this. It was different. Between the two mountains, there was a canyon. The canyon was full of obscure symbols. The rocks around it were abnormally red. However, those symbols seemed to have been corroded to the point that they couldn't be seen anymore. This is the teleportation formation. Since the formation was destroyed 10,000 years ago, no one has come here. Jin Xiaoxiao said with a sigh. She too wanted to leave this place and see the outside world. Although the ancient dragon star was her home, to Jin Xiaoxiao, a man's ambition was to travel far and wide. A mere ancient dragon star couldn't hold back her restless heart. Although she knew that Jiang Chen wouldn't be able to leave this place with the needle technique, she still had a trace of hope in her heart. It's indeed the teleportation formation. Unfortunately, half of it has been destroyed. Chapter 46-70. To think that he could break the formation in a few days like De Huang did was simply wishful thinking. Even if he had a few years, Jiang Chen might not be able to do it. Not only was it incomplete, but it was also an abandoned formation. Jiang Chen was full of disappointment. He shook his head and sighed. However, if he relied on the no-beginning formation to figure it out, it would take him at least 10 years. Too many things could happen in 10 years, and too many things could change. De Huang and Long Shersan were nowhere to be found, and Feng Er was nowhere to be found. Jiang Chen's eyes were full of melancholy. Looks like this formation is hopeless. Jin Xiaoxiao smiled awkwardly. If I have 10 years, or if I become stronger, maybe I won't even need 10 years. Jiang Chen's eyes were full of fighting spirit. He had to leave this place as soon as possible and go to planet Tianqi. Repairing the formation was urgent. Really? Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes were full of joy. 10 years was just the blink of an eye to her. If she could really leave this place and go to planet Tianqi in 10 years, she would be very excited. However, 10 years was too long for Jiang Chen. I will try my best to repair the formation here. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. He glanced at the remaining marks of the formation and engraved them into his mind. Ha ha ha, I believe you can do it. Jin Xiaoxiao patted Jiang Chen's shoulder with confidence. You rest first. I will go and heal. I will take you to the Blood Dragon Pool in 3 days. Jin Xiaoxiao arranged a place for Jiang Chen to cultivate in next to her own cave before she left to tend to her own wounds. Jiang Chen calmed himself down. Since he could not leave ancient Dragon Star in a short period of time, he could only cultivate as soon as possible. Even if the array could not be repaired, as long as he had the power of a Stella-class elite, flying across the universe would not be a problem. However, this was 1,000 times more difficult than repairing the array. Moreover, cultivation was not something that could be achieved overnight. 3 days passed quietly. Jin Xiaoxiao's injury had almost recovered. However, if Jiang Chen wanted to break through to the Star Emperor realm, he would have to work harder. It was not easy to transform. Once he broke through to the Star Emperor realm, he would be more than 100 times stronger than he was now. All right. Jiang Chen said that he was curious when he heard it from the Dragon Clan's patriarch. The Blood Dragon Pool is a good place. In our Dragon Clan, we only have a chance to enter once every 100 years. After entering the Blood Dragon Pool, we can upgrade our bloodline. Dragon veins range from grade 1 to grade 9. Some people may not even be able to upgrade grade 1 even after thousands of years. Speaking of the Blood Dragon Pool, Jin Xiaoxiao became serious. What grade of dragon vein are you now? Jiang Chen asked. Grade 5. Jin Xiaoxiao said with a proud face. In our Golden Dragon Clan, I am the strongest rising star of the younger generation. Jin Xiaoxiao's tone was full of pride. It was not difficult to see that her bloodline and strength were very strong. Being at the peak of the fourth heaven of the Star Emperor realm was indeed enough to show disdain for everyone. Let's go. Although you are not a member of the Dragon Clan, the Genesis Chi in the Blood Dragon Pool is enough for you to benefit a lot. Consider it my reward to you. Maybe you can break through to the Star Emperor realm in one go. Jiang Chen smiled without saying anything. The two went straight to the Golden Dragon Clan's forbidden area, the Blood Dragon Valley. This place was heavily guarded all year round. Without the orders of the Patriarch and the Elders, no one was allowed to approach. At this moment, there were hundreds of people standing outside the Blood Dragon Valley. All of them were experts of the Golden Dragon Clan. Most of them were at the initial Star Emperor realm. Everyone's face was filled with excitement. The baptism of the Blood Dragon Pool that happened once every 100 years was about to begin. How much they could gain would depend on their own luck. Stop! A low roar sounded. Everyone's gaze fell on Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao. You again, Feng Tong. What do you want? Jin Xiaoxiao said Lung Leng. He is an outsider. Does he want to enter the Blood Dragon Pool of our Dragon Clan? He overestimates himself. Humph. Feng Tong said in a low voice. Exactly. What right does an outsider have to behave atrociously in our Dragon Clan? I heard that this person saved His Highness' life. So what? The Blood Dragon Pool of our Dragon Clan is a forbidden area. How can we let an outsider in? But I don't think there's any rule that says outsiders can't enter the Blood Dragon Pool. Everyone's gaze fell on Jiang Chen, an outsider. This matter had nothing to do with him. However, Feng Tong didn't think so. He was the deputy commander of the Guardian team and shouldered the responsibility of protecting the Golden Dragon Clan. Moreover, he had always seen this outsider as an infuriating person. Mingling with Jin Xiaoxiao and talking and laughing with each other, he was filled with anger and jealousy. In his eyes, Jin Xiaoxiao could only be his woman. No man could get close to her. Otherwise, only death awaited them. This outsider who didn't know his place must pay the price for touching his forbidden area. His Highness, I advise you to get this guy out of our Blood Dragon Valley. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. This is an important place for the Golden Dragon Clan. How can an outsider enter? Feng Tong's cold and murderous voice made many people shudder. Everyone knew how domineering Feng Tong was. In the Golden Dragon Clan, no one in the younger generation dared to disobey him. Don't go too far, Feng Tong. Jin Xiaoxiao gritted her teeth and said. She could bring Jiang Chen into the Blood Dragon Pool, but in the eyes of others, she would be destroying the Dragon Tribe's territory. The Dragon Tribe's important land could not tolerate others. It's not impossible for him to enter the Blood Dragon Pool. At the very least, he'll have to get past Feng De, Feng Tong said in a deep voice. A young man who was even more muscular than Feng Tong slowly walked out. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and his face was ferocious. He was about 3 meters tall, and as he stood there, he looked like a small mountain. Everyone's expressions changed. They couldn't help but shake their heads. Feng De wasn't as formidable as his elder brother, Feng Tong, but he was also in the second sky of the Star Emperor realm. With his strength, he could be compared to the third sky of the Star Emperor realm. In the entire Golden Dragon Tribe, he could be regarded as a top-notch master. However, Jiang Chen hadn't even reached the Star Emperor realm yet. Little bastard, get out of here now and I can pretend that nothing has happened. Otherwise, Gagaga, I will tear you apart. Feng De clapped his hands ferociously. Feng Tong, you're obviously going against me. I'll go to my father now and see if he will let Jiang Chen in or not. Chapter 4671. There's no need. Jiang Chen held Jin Xiaoxiao's hand. At that moment, Feng Tong was even more furious. Everything that was related to Jin Xiaoxiao was the source of his anger in his eyes. Don't you want to try the Blood Dragon Pool? This is very likely to be of vital importance to the advancement of your cultivation. Jin Xiaoxiao was stunned. Who said I'm not going? Jiang Chen asked with a smile. Then you, since Commander Feng said that I can enter the Blood Dragon Pool as long as I pass his test, it's reasonable to rely on my own ability. Jiang Chen and Feng Tong looked at each other. Although Jiang Chen was weaker than the latter, the domineering look in his eyes was not weak at all. You're crazy. He's a peak second heavenly layer Star Emperor. Even an ordinary third heavenly layer Star Emperor is not his match. Jean Xiaoxiao said in a deep voice. Her face was full of worry. Jiang Chen was playing with fire. This guy was too arrogant. Wasn't he courting death? Jean Xiaoxiao frowned. She was not looking down on Jiang Chen, but she was worried about his safety. Ha ha ha, what a hothead. Is this guy really the savior of Her Highness? How could he save Her Highness? What a joke. Sigh, this guy is probably trying to show off in front of Her Highness to win her favor. No matter what the reason is, I can only say that he's too young. Does he really think that he has 3 heads and 6 arms? Is there anything easier than wanting to die in this world? Kakik. Overestimating himself. The experts of the Dragon Clan sneered at Jiang Chen's impulsive action. That's not the right way to stand out. Isn't this a joke? Isn't this the same as playing with one's life? In other words, no one could stop him if he wanted to die. Feng Da's strength was obvious to all. Although he was not as abnormal as his brother Feng Tong, he was not someone that anyone could compete with. Hee. I haven't fought for a long time. Today, Grandpa will teach you a good lesson. How dare you steal my brother's woman? Courting death. Feng Da walked towards Jiang Chen step by step. His fierce gaze made people shudder. Don't hold back, Feng Tong said indifferently. At this moment, everyone knew that Jiang Chen was going to die. You're too impulsive. Jiang Chen, hurry up and admit defeat. Jean Xiaoxiao's face was full of resentment. She didn't like men who tried to be brave. I, Jiang Chen, can't swallow the humiliation of being humiliated by these brothers. Jiang Chen said with a smile, completely ignoring Jean Xiaoxiao's worries as he confronted Feng Da, not giving an inch. Good lad. You're interesting. Grandpa will give you a quick death today. Feng Da roared in anger and threw out a punch. It was filled with explosive power that could destroy the heavens and earth. Everyone held their breaths as they waited to see what would happen. In Jean Xiaoxiao's view, wasn't Jiang Chen completely throwing an egg at a rock? The reason why he was able to repel Claude back then was because Claude had exhausted 99% of his strength and was on the verge of death. That was the only reason why he was able to take advantage of the situation. But now, Feng Da was a true peak 2nd Heavenly Star Emperor while Jiang Chen was only a 9th Heavenly Star Lord. What could he use to fight him? Feng Tong's mouth was full of a cold smile. You want to steal my woman? You don't know how to write the word death. No one in the Golden Dragon tribe can fight with him. Just as everyone was waiting for Jiang Chen to be ruthlessly crushed, or even killed, a miracle happened. No one thought that Jiang Chen's thin and weak body would actually resist Feng Da's punch. The contrast between the two was extremely clear. That kind of gap was hard to replace. However, Jiang Chen relied on his fierce strength and fiercely collided with Feng Da. The punch that seemed to have no fighting power directly stunned Feng Da. The collision between the two should have been easy to destroy. Jiang Chen should have been killed instantly, or at least seriously injured, but Jiang Chen gave everyone a slap, including Feng Da. With that punch, Jiang Chen seemed to have taken root in the ground. Facing Feng Da's punch that was as heavy as Mount Tai, Jiang Chen chose to face it head-on. The two retreated, but everyone could see that Feng Da's footsteps were more chaotic and deeper than Jiang Chen's. Everyone was in an uproar and sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces were full of shock. The energy that erupted from Jiang Chen's thin and weak body was shocking. You're courting death. Feng Da's roar was like thunder. He constantly beat his chest and rushed forward again, directly attacking Jiang Chen's face. Jiang Chen sneered and didn't think much of it. He attacked with all his strength. His dragon body wasn't inferior to Feng Da's at all. The two exchanged blows, but Feng Da was at a disadvantage. Jiang Chen's physique was comparable to his, but he was more flexible and faster. Strength didn't represent everything, especially in this kind of head-on battle. The terrifying power that Jiang Chen erupted made everyone full of shock. How was this possible? He was just a 9th Heavenly Layer Star Lord? How could he be so strong? Just as they were shocked, the fierce battle between Jiang Chen and Feng Da had reached a white-hot situation. The two's flesh and blood collided fiercely, but Jiang Chen's recovery was even more terrifying. His strength didn't decrease at all when facing Feng Da. On the contrary, his opponent was already panting, his face was full of anger, and his injuries were getting more and more serious. Jiang Chen's heavy punches weren't weaker than his fists at all, and were even stronger. The two fought without any fancy moves, making people's blood boil and dazzled. Even Jin Xiaoxiao was stunned. This guy was actually so strong. Oh my god. Is he still human? It's so terrifying. Even Feng De can't take him down. This guy's strength may be stronger than mine. With that little body of yours? TCH. You're definitely not his opponent. Everyone's eyes flickered. They ridiculed the weak, but there was no doubt that they were in awe of the strong. In this world where the strong were respected, only strength was the absolute truth, and only then would you have the right to speak. Jiang Chen's crazy attacks made Feng Da's situation more and more difficult. Although he couldn't directly kill him, Feng Da's situation was getting worse and worse. It wouldn't be long before he was defeated, and when he was defeated, it would be the moment his soul returned to heaven. Jiang Chen's continuous encroachment made Feng Da's body suffer an unprecedented strangulation. At the same time, Feng Tong's eyes were getting colder and colder. You've already lost, Feng Tong said. No, I haven't lost. I can't lose to this bastard who's only a Star Lord. Feng De roared furiously and continued to charge at Jiang Chen. Enough, Feng Tong shouted in a low voice. If the battle continued, he would definitely die. Chapter 4672. Scram. Jiang Chen condensed the power of the 9 dragons and 10 elephants and blasted out a palm seal. Feng De was pushed back several hundred meters and smashed into the mountain. Blood spurted out from his mouth as he was gravely injured. Bastard! Feng Tong took a step forward and faced Jiang Chen. His eyes were filled with hatred and rage. You're courting death. What are you trying to do? Feng Tong? Jin Xiaoxiao stood in front of Jiang Chen and blocked Feng Tong's path. What's done cannot be undone. He has already made his move. Am I supposed to just stand there and let him trample on me? Humph. Jiang Chen sneered and didn't mind. At this moment, Feng Tong gritted his teeth and wanted nothing more than to devour Jiang Chen's flesh. Even Feng De wasn't a match for this guy. It seemed like he had underestimated Jiang Chen. What? Are you going to go back on your words? Feng De is bullying the weak. Do you want to make it worse? You're the leader of the guards, right? Jin Xiaoxiao said with a smile that wasn't a smile. Feng Tong was speechless in public. After all, words spoken were like water that was spilled. Moreover, he was the leader of the guards of the Golden Dragon clan. He had to swallow this resentment. Fine, let's wait and see. Feng Tong let out a cold snort and stared at Jiang Chen with a murderous look, like a poisonous snake. Jiang Chen shook his head helplessly. He just wanted to cultivate, but Feng Tong didn't want to let him have his way. You're really something. Brother Jiang Chen. You're too ferocious. Jin Xiaoxiao said with a gratified expression. The fact that Jiang Chen was able to give Feng De a good beating made her feel good. Usually, many people were bullied by him. Plus, with his brother's strength and identity, no one dared to fight him. Today, not only was Feng De beaten up, even Feng Tong's expression didn't look good. This made many people secretly feel good. I was just lucky. However, I don't think I'm a match for that Feng Tong. Jiang Chen said. Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't help but purse her lips and roll her eyes. You want to fight Feng Tong? Big brother, you are really too arrogant. Even I am not a match for Feng Tong. Do you really think that you are an invincible little tornado in the universe? Let's go. Let's hurry up and enter. There aren't many good spots in the Blood Dragon pool. If we are late, they will likely be snatched away by others. Jin Xiaoxiao dragged Jiang Chen all the way into the valley. The Blood Dragon pool was not big. It was an oval blood-red pool, but it was still more than 10,000 square meters. It filled a corner of the valley. The water in the Blood Dragon pool was extremely hot, and there was even steam rising from it. It was blood-red in color, giving people an extremely warm feeling. Jiang Chen was filled with shock as he gazed at the Blood Dragon pool before him. This was no ordinary pool. The water here contained the blood of the Dragon Clan, and endless dragon vein chi floated within. The Genesis chi within was unimaginably dense. It was no wonder that this pool only appeared once every 100 years. How is it? This Blood Dragon pool is not bad, right? Jin Xiaoxiao said proudly. This time, I must strive to break through to the grade 6 dragon vein. Jin Xiaoxiao said confidently. It was not easy to break through to the 6th grade dragon vein. She had not broken through for thousands of years. This time, she must break through to the 6th grade dragon vein in one go. The higher the grade of the dragon vein, the greater her potential and the stronger her strength would be. Her strength would rise along with the rise of the dragon vein. Come down and give it a try. Let me see your potential. Before Jin Xiaoxiao's voice faded, Jiang Chen had already impatiently dashed into the blood dragon pool. The endless dragon chi here would definitely be of great benefit to him. Whether he could break through to the Star Emperor stage depended on this. This time, I must break through to the grade 3 dragon vein. So what? I came here for the grade 4 dragon vein. TCH, look, I estimate that Commander Fong will definitely break through to the grade 6 dragon vein. Given his potential, it is very likely that he will take over our Golden Dragon Clan in the future. That's right. In our Golden Dragon Clan, strength is the most important thing. If you are not capable, who will listen to you? Everyone said at once. Fong Tong, who was in the center, could not wait to start cultivating as soon as he entered the blood dragon pool. This guy has a grade 5 dragon vein like me, but he is also known as the most outstanding genius of the Golden Dragon Clan. It is very likely that he will break through to the grade 6 this time. As for my father, he has a grade 7 dragon vein. He was not as strong as he is at his age, Jin Xiaoxiao said in a deep voice. Jin Xiaoxiao said in a deep voice. She glanced at Jiang Chen and started cultivating without hesitation. Jiang Chen silently glanced at Fong Tong. This guy was indeed stronger than him, but in terms of potential, Jiang Chen had never been convinced by anyone. The dragon vein chi here was like adding wings to a tiger to a tiger. Jiang Chen looked at Fong Tong silently. Let's start. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. In the next moment, the source dragon in his body that had been dormant for a long time began to frantically plunder. That's right. Plunder. Endless dragon vein chi was devoured by the source dragon. That feeling was like a whale swallowing hundreds of rivers into the sea. Jiang Chen could feel that every strand of dragon vein chi was constantly flowing into his body, making his bloodline stronger and his physique more terrifying. The source dragon continued to grow, and terrifying dragon might gathered on Jiang Chen's body. Many people around felt a great pressure, but they did not know where this pressure came from. They all looked at Fong Tong because at this moment, Fong Tong's dragon vein had broken through to the grade 6 dragon vein. Exclamations were heard continuously. Jiang Chen was very careful, but the endless dragon vein chi seemed to have a home. The source dragon in Jiang Chen's body had been dormant all this time and had never erupted. But at this moment, Jiang Chen had a deep understanding. The moment the source dragon erupted, it absorbed 99% of the dragon vein chi. Jiang Chen felt that even he could not control that power. The source dragon seemed to be about to break out of his body. Damn it, I don't believe it. Jiang Chen's heart was filled with shock, but the source dragon was formed from his dragon marks. Therefore he had to control it completely. Even if it wanted to escape, it would be impossible for it to do so. Jiang Chen's dragonization art circulated once again. The source dragon was gradually suppressed by the dragonization art, but things were not as simple as Jiang Chen had imagined. The source dragon continued to transform and absorb the surrounding dragon vein chi. Right now, Jiang Chen even felt a little helpless. Was the source dragon really going to break out of his body? No. I can't let it escape. Jiang Chen gritted his teeth. The source dragon was growing stronger and stronger. The destructive chi wasn't something that Jiang Chen could control right now. It wouldn't be long before the source dragon went out of control. Chapter 4673. An idea suddenly occurred to Jiang Chen. Right. The Eternal Dragon's reverse scale might have a miraculous effect. The source dragon was also a type of dragon, and the Eternal Dragon's reverse scale was a true treasure. Every Eternal Dragon only had one reverse scale, and only the Almighty would have it. If it was an ordinary dragon, it would be impossible for them to have a reverse scale. It was a supreme treasure of the world, and suppressing the source dragon should not be a problem. Suppress it. Jiang Chen activated the Eternal Dragon's reverse scale and began to suppress the source dragon. However, he had not expected that the source dragon would be so terrifying. It kept struggling and charging as if it wanted to break free and leave Jiang Chen's body. The source dragon seemed to have developed its own intelligence. A pair of strange dragon eyes had been silently staring at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was also very careful, not daring to make any mistakes. If the source dragon suddenly erupted, he would be finished. The source dragon that he had painstakingly cultivated would devour him. There was no such ridiculous thing in the world. When the source dragon had been refined, Jiang Chen had felt that it was very terrifying, far beyond his imagination. Most importantly, the source dragon had been in a completely silent state. It had suddenly come out when he was about to break through to the Star Emperor realm. This was definitely not a coincidence. This guy's intelligence was a kind of existence that transcended him and was not bound to him at all. This was also what Jiang Chen was most worried about. The source dragon seemed to have suddenly erupted and became a time bomb in his body. If he did not quickly subdue it, his life would be in danger at any time. It was very likely that he would be devoured by the source dragon and be occupied by it. However, Jiang Chen would never let this happen. The source dragon was formed by his dragon mark. He must completely suppress the source dragon at this time. Roar! The roar of the dragon was incessant. When the reverse scale of the Eternal Dragon Clan pressed on the Yuan dragon's body, Jiang Chen found that it was still useless. The Yuan dragon even felt like a fish in the water. That kind of pleasurable roar made Jiang Chen speechless. Motherf ****. Could it be that even the reverse scale of the Eternal Dragon Clan couldn't suppress it? Am I really going to be killed by the source dragon? That would be too tragic. Jiang Chen would never allow such a thing to happen. However, the only person he could rely on now was himself. The source dragon was in his body, and nothing else could help him. The source dragon's rampage was getting more and more intense. The reverse scale that Jiang Chen controlled was about to be refined by the source dragon. For Jiang Chen, the source dragon was a new creature, but it couldn't be used by him. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case at all. As the source dragon's oppression grew stronger and stronger, Jiang Chen swallowed more and more Genesis Qi. The Genesis Qi in the blood dragon pool was crazily devoured by him like a bottomless pit. The majestic aura seemed to be able to topple mountains and overturn the seas. The countless golden dragon experts around Jiang Chen were stunned. What is the origin of this guy? Why is he so terrifying? He's completely suppressed by a hungry man who hasn't eaten for half a year. The dragon origin Qi in our blood dragon pool is most likely going to be completely devoured by him. Who knows? We don't dare to say. We don't dare to ask. The person brought by His Highness shouldn't be too drunk. Be careful that trouble comes from the mouth. So much dragon origin Qi. Be careful that he explodes. The people of the dragon clan were watching silently. Jiang Chen was the one who was crazily absorbing the dragon origin Qi in the blood dragon pool, followed by Feng Tong and Jin Xiaoxiao. However, even if Feng Tong and Jin Xiaoxiao joined forces, they wouldn't be able to fight 1/10 of Jiang Chen. That guy was truly devouring like a whale. Jiang Chen's heart was extremely solemn. At this moment, it was a matter of life and death, and he had to make a decision. Although he hadn't reached the Star Emperor realm yet, the only thing that could save him now was perhaps the astral pole. If he could successfully cultivate the astral pole, he might be able to change his current situation. Isn't this forcing me? Jiang Chen said with a bitter smile. The astral pole was so terrifying that even the Eternal Lord was afraid of it. It was his only life-saving straw at this time. The extreme of the universe, the strength of the stars, the transformation of heaven and earth, the bewilderment of the six paths, the primordial destruction of all things, the lightlessness of the star Luan. Jiang Chen was cautious because he hadn't reached the Star Emperor realm yet. He needed to rely on the astral pole to make a breakthrough and reach the Star Emperor realm. Only in this way could he defeat the Yuan dragon. Of course, if he failed, Jiang Chen would have no other way. Refine the stars, extract their cores, and refine them into steel. At present, Jiang Chen could only continue to cultivate according to the contents of the astral pole, hoping to achieve his goal. Once he broke through to the Star Emperor realm, he wouldn't have to worry anymore. The cultivation of the astral pole was far more difficult than Jiang Chen had imagined because what he had to absorb and devour wasn't just Genesis Qi, but also the light of the stars in the sky. Only by cultivating the light of the stars could he refine the astral pole more perfectly. The astral pole didn't only cultivate Genesis Qi, but also the real stars. But when Jiang Chen began to practice the astral pole, his body seemed to have undergone tremendous changes. The Genesis Qi in his body began to constantly divide, and the Yuan dragon also suffered a great struggle. The astral pole allowed Jiang Chen to open up the 8 extraordinary meridians, countless acupoints, and thousands of pores in his body. What he absorbed and refined was like all things in heaven and earth, like rivers running into the sea, but it was incomparably heterogeneous. This was what Jiang Chen was most worried about.
However, the carefree feeling that the starlight entering his body brought him was incomparable. The starlight emitted by the stars in the sky was constantly refined by Jiang Chen, and there was even a dazzling feeling on his body. Endless starlight and dragon origin qi almost burst into Jiang Chen's body. The astral pole began to spin, and Jiang Chen's absorption speed was 100 times faster than before. He couldn't help but be shocked. Isn't this too fast? Not long after, Jiang Chen felt an even more terrifying change. The power of the stars didn't come from the stars in the sky, but from the earth. Could the astral pole be able to absorb the core of the ancient dragon star? The core of a star was the core of a planet. However, it was rare to see a planet with a star core. Back when he first learned about the astral stars, he already knew that the light of the stars was only a small part of it. What could truly allow his strength to skyrocket and his cultivation to be successful was the core of a star. Jiang Chen's heart began to beat with excitement. If the ancient dragon star had a star core, wouldn't he be rich? Once he refined a star core, Jiang Chen couldn't imagine how crazy it would be. His strength would most likely soar along with it. A star core would be Jiang Chen's greatest harvest. Chapter 46-74. Jiang Chen kept trying to calm himself. The most important thing now was to break through to the Star Emperor realm. Otherwise, everything would just be empty talk. No matter how powerful the astral pole was, it would be useless. No matter how terrifying the star core was, he could only look at it and lament his inadequacy. I'll break through to the Star Emperor realm first. Jiang Chen kept trying. The starlight and the dragon origin qi in the blood dragon pool worked together. Soon, he reached the peak of the Star-Lord realm. Jiang Chen had been accumulating for a long time just for the day when he could break through to the Star Emperor realm. Time passed by. At this moment, everyone had woken up. Jin Xiaoxiao and Feng Tong had both reached the 6th class dragon vein. Everyone in the blood dragon pool cheered. I've also broken through to the 4th class dragon vein. It feels great. Hee, me too. In the future, I'll be able to get more resources in our golden dragon clan. Sigh, it's a pity that I've returned empty-handed this time. Don't be discouraged. You're already a 4th class dragon vein. It won't be easy to break through to the 5th class. Some people were happy, while others were sad. After all, the higher the dragon vein, the more resources they could get. Therefore, many people worked hard in this direction. It was the only motivation for their cultivation. He's indeed the absolute genius of our golden dragon clan. Feng Tong broke through to the 6th class dragon vein calmly. This is called strength. Isn't it? Even Her Highness isn't as strong as Feng Tong. You can't be envious of him. If you had such strength, I'm afraid you'd be able to make a name for yourself in our golden dragon clan. Geniuses are still a distance away from us. You'd better take care of yourself. If you follow Boss Feng Tong, you'll definitely have a good life in the future. That goes without saying. Feng Tong and Her Highness are practically a golden couple. Both of them are grade 6 dragon meridians. TSK. There's no point in being envious. More and more people were filled with envy towards Feng Tong and Jin Xiaoxiao. As top-notch experts and geniuses of the Golden Dragon tribe, everyone was in awe of them, especially Feng Tong, who was like their eldest senior brother. In fact, the Golden Dragon tribe might even be controlled by Feng Tong in the future. His status in the Golden Dragon tribe was also relatively high. Feng Tong's face was filled with pride. Although Jin Xiaoxiao had also reached the grade 6 dragon vein, it was far more difficult for her than him. After all, there was still a slight gap between her strength and his. Why isn't Jiang Chen awake yet? Jin Xiaoxiao said with a serious expression. At this moment, he was the only one who was still frantically devouring the dragon vein energy in the blood dragon pool. Hundreds of people in the Golden Dragon clan had already woken up from their cultivation in the blood dragon pool. This guy. Jin Xiaoxiao shook her head helplessly with a serious expression. Perhaps, he could really break through to the Star Emperor realm with the help of the dragon vein energy in the blood dragon pool. Everyone has finished their cultivation. Why isn't this guy awake yet? The blood dragon pool of our Golden Dragon clan isn't that easy to use. Humph. Someone questioned. Jiang Chen was an outsider, and everyone was waiting for him. No matter what, it wouldn't make sense for him to do so. Could it be that the dragon vein energy in the blood dragon pool has been devoured by this guy? It's something left by our ancestors. That's right. I think we should quickly chase this guy out of the blood dragon pool. Heh heh heh. Not just anyone can chase someone out. Don't forget, this guy is backed by Her Royal Highness. The people of the Golden Dragon clan spoke one after another. Their eyes were filled with dissatisfaction towards Jiang Chen. Previously, Jiang Chen had defeated Feng De, which was a form of oppression for the Golden Dragon clan. All of them had made breakthroughs in their strength. The arrogance and fighting will in their eyes were also very strong. Some people who had a good relationship with Feng De were even eager to fight against Jiang Chen to regain their dignity. It seems that this guy really doesn't consider himself an outsider. He doesn't know when he is cultivating in our Golden Dragon clan. It's already a great fortune for him to cultivate in the Blood Dragon pool. Now, he is pretending to be cultivating. Your Highness, I don't think there's such a good thing in the world. I think it's time for him to leave. Feng Tong said Lung Lung. What do you mean, Feng Tong? He's still in the midst of cultivation. Do you really want to disrupt his cultivation? I brought him here. There's no way you can make him leave. Unless you defeat me first. Jin Xiaoxiao said in a low voice. Your Highness, what are you saying? Ha ha ha, I naturally won't fight with you. However, this guy can't continue to cultivate here. Even if I agree, the other people of the Golden Dragon clan may not agree. What do you think? Feng Tong said with a smile. Yes. We can't let him stay here. He is taking up our resources. In the future, when we cultivate in the Blood Dragon pool, we will have to spend twice the effort with half the result. Taking over the nest of the magpie. Humph, this must not happen. Lao Wang is right. If this goes on, our cultivation resources will be squeezed in the future. Who can we reason with? This guy is not a member of the Golden Dragon clan and I don't know where he came from. In any case, I won't do it. More and more people started to stand on Feng Tong's side because they didn't want their own cultivation resources to be used by others. The dragon vein energy in the Blood Dragon pool originally belonged to the Golden Dragon clan. At this time, they were already indignant about letting an outsider in. How could they let Jiang Chen continue to cultivate now? Feng Tong's words made them even more clear that they had to fight for their own benefits. As you can see, Your Highness, this isn't my problem. Jiang Chen has taken over the benefits of the Golden Dragon clan. I'm just thinking for everyone. What do you say? Feng Tong's expression was the same as usual as he sneered at Jiang Chen. This fellow had injured his brother. If he wanted to show off in the Golden Dragon clan, he would have to pass through Feng Tong first. Furthermore, Feng Tong hated people who flirted with Jin Xiaoxiao the most. In his eyes, Jin Xiaoxiao belonged to him. In the future, she would definitely become his woman. No man could take her away from him. This outsider couldn't even think about showing off in the Golden Dragon clan. All of you shut up. Jin Xiaoxiao shouted. No matter where Jiang Chen came from, he is my, Jin Xiaoxiao's, honored guest. He is an honored guest of the Golden Dragon clan. Are we not even letting him eat his fill? Is this the so-called style of a large clan? Is this the breadth of mind that you should have? If this is the case, then I feel deeply ashamed to be a member of the Golden Dragon clan. Jin Xiaoxiao's words made everyone silent. They were even speechless because she was right. Could it be that when a guest came to eat, they wouldn't even let him eat his fill? This was simply too ridiculous. Feng Tong's eyes were cold. This woman was really sharp-tongued. Thank you, Your Highness. Chapter 4675. What a horrible oppression. Is this the oppression of the dragon might? Why haven't I felt it before? That's right. Our dragon clan has never experienced such a thing before. I'm afraid that even the pressure from our clan leader wouldn't be this great, right? Shh. Don't talk nonsense. I'm telling the truth. Everyone's heart became incomparably heavy, because they could feel an inexplicable pressure. The fear of being in a superior position made them not even dare to breathe loudly. The source of this terrifying aura was none other than Jiang Chen. Feng Tong's eyes were cold and his pupils contracted. The dragon might from Jiang Chen was indescribably sacred. He had never felt such an aura before. He had only felt such an aura from the Eternal Dragon tribe. Even the leader of the Golden Dragon tribe didn't have such a strong dragon might. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen with a face full of excitement. This bastard had already broken through to the Star Emperor realm. That was great. Plus, his chi had become incomparably strong. Congratulations, Jiang Chen. You finally reached the Star Emperor realm. Jin Xiaoxiao smiled. Everyone was still in a state of suppression. It was a suppression that originated from the depths of their souls. It was something that no one could change. Regardless of whether it was their bodies or souls, they were both being suppressed. The strength of the dragon's might was quite terrifying to any demonic beast, especially to those of the same race. That kind of incomparable impact caused people's hearts to tremble. I have to thank Your Highness. If Your Highness didn't argue for me, I might have been harmed by a scoundrel, Jiang Chen said coldly. He seemed to be referring to Feng Tong. The others did not dare to look at Jiang Chen's eyes. The invisible pressure made them not dare to utter a single word. Jiang Chen was like their god. The whole blood dragon pond kept quiet out of fear as his dragon mightiness swept across the whole pond. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox, Jiang Chen. What do you mean by that? Could it be that there's someone from the dragon clan who wants to harm you? You're not grateful at all. How dare you say that there are scoundrels in our dragon tribe? I must teach you a lesson today. Let's see who this scoundrel is. Feng Tong shouted in a low voice. You are slandering my golden dragon clan. I definitely cannot sit back and do nothing. Feng Tong's words were like pearls of wisdom. Everyone was filled with righteous indignation, but right now, they did not even dare to breathe loudly. Not to mention them, even Feng Tong clenched his teeth and wanted to fight with Jiang Chen. If this fellow's arrogance was allowed to grow, would there be any place for him in the Golden Dragon tribe in the future? Feng Tong, that's enough. Jiang Chen had just broken through to the Star Emperor realm, and you were already at the peak of the Star Emperor realm. How could he be a match for you? Do you still have any shame? Jin Xiaoxiao said angrily. This Feng Tong was clearly using his position to avenge a personal grudge. She knew that Feng Tong liked her. This fellow had been making things difficult for Jiang Chen right from the start, wanting to expel Jiang Chen from the Golden Dragon race. He had been pressuring Jiang Chen step by step. As long as he had a chance, he wouldn't let it go. He brought this upon himself for speaking rudely. However, I, Feng Tong, have never bullied the weak. If he can take 3 attacks from me, I can pretend that nothing has happened. Feng Tong's eyes met Jiang Chen's and stared at him. Good. Since Commander Feng is in such a good mood, I will play with you. However, I, Jiang Chen, have never insulted the Golden Dragon clan. I have always been a man of facts, not people. Jiang Chen said with a smile. You're crazy. He is at the peak of the Star Emperor realm 5th. You are no match for him. Jin Xiaoxiao frowned. Even if he could only take 3 attacks from him, Jiang Chen had just broken through to the Star Emperor realm. How could that be possible? If he was not careful, these 3 attacks would probably kill Jiang Chen on the spot. What? Don't you dare? What kind of man are you if you hide behind a woman? Feng Tong said calmly with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. As long as it was a man, he would definitely get angry. Psychological methods had been very useful since ancient times. Why wouldn't I dare? But wouldn't it be boring if there is no reward? What if I can take 3 attacks from you? How do you explain that, Commander Feng? Jiang Chen asked back. 3 attacks from me? Ha ha ha, if you can take 3 attacks from me and still stand here, I will apologize to you in front of everyone, Feng Tong said disdainfully. 3 attacks? 1 attack and you will be looking for your teeth all over the ground. Who would dare to underestimate him when there was a gap of 5 levels? Good. A gentleman's word is as good as a whip. Come on. Let me see how strong the most excellent genius of the Golden Dragon clan is. Jin Xiaoxiao wanted to stop him, but Jiang Chen would not listen to her at all. Just admit defeat if you can't do it. Do you think Feng Tong is like Feng Da? Jin Xiaoxiao felt bitter. Feng Tong was pushing her, and Jiang Chen was trying to save his face. If he kept giving in, he would not be a man. Everyone was looking forward to the battle, however. Everyone had witnessed Jiang Chen's strength. It was wishful thinking for him to withstand 3 of Feng Tong's attacks. Many of them sneered at Jiang Chen's action of hitting a rock with an egg. Initially, they thought that Jiang Chen must be someone extraordinary since he had broken through to the Star Emperor realm and possessed such terrifying dragon prestige. Now, it seemed like Jiang Chen was just a rash young man who didn't know what was good for him. He was hooked by Commander Feng's words. He couldn't be called a hero at all. Watch carefully. The first attack. Feng Tong stepped forward and threw a punch. The terrifying power made everyone hold their breath. The strength at the peak of the 5th level of the Star Emperor realm was unparalleled among the young generation. Feng Tong's strength was a topic that everyone was talking about. Jiang Chen was asking for trouble. Jiang Chen struck out with his fist, causing mountains and rivers to rumble with lightning. He wasn't afraid at all, and he too struck out with his fist, colliding with Feng Tong's. The terrifying force formed an invisible ripple and exploded. Jiang Chen took a few steps back with a solemn expression, but he didn't feel any discomfort. On the other hand, Feng Tong's face was cold, but his heart was filled with shock. Jiang Chen was able to withstand his attack, and he wasn't injured at all. This was beyond his expectation. The second attack. Feng Tong didn't hesitate at all. He launched the second attack, which was even more powerful than the first one. As a strong warrior in the 5th sky of the Star Emperor realm, how could he not defeat a guy who had just become a Star Emperor? Jiang Chen did not move at all. He lowered his shoulders and crouched down, looking calm and composed. The two stared at each other again. That kind of confrontation was like fire. This time, Feng Tong used 99% of his strength. He was going to wound Jiang Chen severely. If he dared to take it head-on, his meridians would be broken for sure. Jiang Chen didn't look at Feng Tong. He blocked the attack with both of his fists and slashed out with his blade. With a furious roar, he unleashed an insane amount of dragon pressure. Everyone were startled by this scene. Initially they thought Jiang Chen was going to be defeated, but right at this moment, Jiang Chen had once again blocked Feng Tong's attack with his powerful dragon pressure, causing Feng Tong's expression to turn serious. His dragon pressure spread out in all directions, causing everyone to instinctively retreat. Jiang Chen only took 3 steps back. At that moment, Feng Tong's eyes were as sharp as knives. Chapter 4676. Gut, gut, gut. There's still the last move. Jiang Chen die. Feng Tong was furious. He hadn't managed to kill Jiang Chen with 2 moves. He hadn't even been seriously injured. How could he be willing to accept this? In the eyes of the Golden Dragon Clan's experts, this was undoubtedly the biggest doubt he had. How could a brat who had just broken through to the Star Emperor plane be so strong? Although Feng Tong had used 99% of his strength, he hadn't gone all out. Because of this, Jiang Chen had managed to escape. Otherwise, if Feng Tong had used his killing move right from the start, Jiang Chen wouldn't have been able to escape his clutches. If he wanted to gain a foothold in the Golden Dragon Clan, he had to get rid of all the obstacles in his way. Jiang Chen, who had appeared out of nowhere, was his obstacle. If he didn't get rid of Jiang Chen as soon as possible, it was very likely that he wouldn't be able to do anything in the Golden Dragon Clan in the future. This guy had a close relationship with Jin Xiaoxiao. Moreover, Feng Da was already no match for him before he broke through to the Star Emperor plane. If Feng Da was allowed to grow stronger, he might very well become Feng Tong's rival. It had always been Feng Tong's style to nip danger in the bud. He wouldn't allow and absolutely wouldn't accept that there was someone stronger than him in the Golden Dragon Clan who wanted to take his position, unless he died. Looks like Commander Feng is getting serious this time. Those 2 moves were just probing attacks. The real show has just begun. No one knows Commander Feng's strength better than me. It's a piece of cake for him to deal with a guy who has just broken through to the Star Emperor plane. He's just giving face to Jiang Chen for the sake of Her Highness. However, if he wants to take Commander Feng's position, humph, I can only say that he's thinking too much. Feng Tong's strength and position in the Golden Dragon Clan were well known. It was impossible for Jiang Chen to take his place. Besides, Jiang Chen didn't want to do so at all. He was just a passerby. However, Feng Tong kept pushing him, so he had no other choice. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen, clenching her fists tightly. No one was more nervous than she was. Jiang Chen was her savior. If she forced him into a life-or-death situation at this moment, how could Jin Xiaoxiao feel at ease? Jiang Chen's expression was cold and indifferent. At this moment, he was filled with determination. He had just broken through to the Star Emperor realm. He wanted to see how strong he had become. Feng Tong had made things difficult for him again and again. If he continued to cower, he would think that Jiang Chen was afraid of him. Jiang Chen didn't know what to do with Feng Tong. Jiang Chen sneered and faced Feng Tong fearlessly. I'm waiting for you. Jiang Chen's coldness had ignited Feng Tong's anger. The two of them clashed once again. Feng Tong clasped his palms together and changed his palm seals. Numerous terrifying energies gathered together, causing the surrounding space to solidify. It was as if countless lights and shadows were intertwining with each other. When the palms merged together, the color of the sky changed, and the entire valley was filled with the howling of the wind. Soaring Dragon Seal. Feng Tong gritted his teeth with a solemn expression. He had to destroy Jiang Chen with this seal, as it was related to his reputation. He couldn't afford to lose it. Feng Tong's seal made many people suck in a cold breath. The power that could destroy the heavens and earth had caused everyone to look at it with surprise. It's Feng Tong's trump card. That guy is shameless, Jin Xiaoxiao said while clenching her teeth. However, she couldn't interfere with the agreement between the two. Now, it depended on whether Jiang Chen could withstand this seal or not. Even if he didn't die, he would at least lose a layer of skin. Dragon Transformation. Jiang Chen shouted in a deep voice. His human and dragon body suddenly changed. The dreadful dragon aura rose once again. His arrogant roar shook the entire valley. The half-human and half-dragon Jiang Chen punched out with both of his fists, hitting Feng Tong's seal. In an instant, the entire valley was filled with layers of dust and sand. Even the mountains seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Impossible! Feng Tong stared at Jiang Chen. What's the background of this half-human half-dragon guy? Even his soaring dragon seal was unable to do anything to him. This was simply too unbelievable. Jiang Chen took a few steps back, but each step was filled with power. He was like an ancient tree, deeply rooted in the ground. A wave of shock was set off in the crowd. Everyone was staring at Jiang Chen with their eyes and mouth wide open. The human and dragon form was too magical. Jiang Chen's identity had become a mystery that no one knew. Even Jin Xiaoxiao's face was filled with astonishment. After Jiang Chen's dragon transformation, he was completely different from before. Not only had his strength increased by a lot, most importantly, his dragon prestige seemed to have been unleashed to a greater extent. Who is this guy? Is he really a spy of the other three dragon clans? Even Jin Xiaoxiao was a little hesitant. However, she chose to believe in Jiang Chen, not only because he saved her, but also because of the sincerity in his eyes. Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't resist it. Although Feng Tong wasn't willing to admit it, he had to admit that he lost this time. He lost completely. Not only did he fail to kill Jiang Chen in 3 moves, but Jiang Chen wasn't even injured. How could this be justified? Dragon form. Who are you? Feng Tong said in a deep voice. Are you a member of the Dragon Clan? Feng Tong's series of questions echoed the thoughts of countless people. Who was Jiang Chen? The 4 dragon clans didn't interfere with each other. If he was really an expert from the other 3 dragon clans, then his intentions would be suspicious. Jiang Chen, are you really not a member of the Dragon Clan? Jin Xiaoxiao asked. No. Jiang Chen shook his head. If you're not a member of the Dragon Clan, then why can you transform into a dragon form? What's your purpose in entering my Golden Dragon Clan? Feng Tong was aggressive and continued to make things difficult for Jiang Chen. Who do you think you are? Questioning me? Ha ha ha, do you have the qualifications? Whether I'm a member of the Dragon Clan or not, I'm afraid it's not up to you to ask. 3 moves have passed and you've already lost. Yet you're asking me like a winner. Your skin is probably thicker than the bark of a 10,000-year-old tree, right? Jiang Chen sneered as his eyes flickered coldly. If it wasn't for Jin Xiaoxiao, he would have fought Feng Tong to the death today. Feng Tong's face was dark and even a little awkward. Although he lost, it didn't mean he wasn't a match for Jiang Chen. This guy's arrogance enraged him. If you don't dare to admit it, could it be that you're guilty? Feng Tong faced Jiang Chen directly. Jiang Chen, since you have the bloodline of the Dragon Clan, then what's the grade of your dragon vein? Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes narrowed as she thought of something. She had always been curious as to why Jiang Chen had such a terrifying dragon aura. It might be related to his dragon vein. Jiang Chen pressed his palm on the blood dragon wall. At that moment, 9 halos spread out. The entire blood dragon pool became completely silent. Even the sound of a drop of water falling could be heard clearly. Jiang Chen looked at the blood dragon wall. Chapter 4677. Shouldn't the 9th class dragon vein only exist in legends? The supreme dragon vein was the symbol of a supreme god. No one knew whether the ancestors of the Golden Dragon tribe had ever reached the 9th-class dragon vein. Among the 4 major dragon tribes, no one had the 9th-class dragon vein. Even the current patriarch of the Golden Dragon tribe could not reach the strength of the 9th-class dragon vein. Everyone present was dumbfounded. Jiang Chen's 9th-class dragon vein was completely beyond their understanding. But it was indeed the symbol of the 9th-class dragon vein. Feng Tong and Jin Xiaoxiao only had the 6th-class dragon vein, which was a far cry from it. Jin Xiaoxiao was stunned on the spot. Then she looked at Jiang Chen excitedly. She was so excited that she couldn't say a word. She could only give Jiang Chen a thumbs up. Awesome! No one knew who said this, but immediately, the entire blood dragon pond was filled with deafening cheers. Jiang Chen shrugged and looked at Jin Xiaoxiao with a non-committal expression. He had never thought that he could reach the 9th-class dragon vein. It should be because of the source dragon in his body. But now the source dragon had been suppressed. Jiang Chen had practiced the astral pole. Starlight had just entered his body. There was still a long way to go before he could reach the profound realm. However, the astral pole had suppressed the source dragon in his body, and completely stabilized it at the first heaven of the Star Emperor realm. You're really too abnormal. Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't help but say. 9th-class dragon vein. Even in the dragon tribe, there might not be one in millions of years. The dragon vein symbolized the purity of the dragon tribe's bloodline. The 9th-class dragon vein was the purest dragon tribe's bloodline. Commander Feng, do you think the other 3 major dragon tribes will send a genius with the 9th-class dragon vein to us as a spy? Jin Xiaoxiao said with a smile. She snorted coldly, but she was speechless. Who would send the most terrifying genius in their tribe as a spy? Unless the 3 major dragon tribes were fools. Commander Feng, could it be that you've forgotten our previous agreement? Jiang Qinlunglung said. At this time, Feng Tong was about to leave, but he didn't expect Jiang Chen to stop him. Feng Tong abruptly turned around and locked eyes with Jiang Chen. Needless to say, there was no need to express their anger. In front of so many experts of the Dragon Clan, this Jiang Chen actually embarrassed him. More importantly, if he went back on his word, he would be ridiculed by everyone. I was careless with my words today. I'm sorry. Feng Tong said in a deep voice. This was the first time in his life that he had lowered his head to someone. He would definitely settle this debt in the future. Jiang Chen, just you wait. Feng Tong left the blood dragon pool with his tail between his legs. However, Jiang Chen's name had already spread throughout the entire Golden Dragon tribe. 9th-class dragon vein. Such a talent was enough to shock everyone. It would definitely cause a great disturbance in the dragon tribe. Jiang Chen looked calm. He was also very satisfied with the result of his fight with Feng Tong. After all, there was a huge gap between them. Jiang Chen had already used all his strength to take 3 attacks from Feng Tong. 9th-class dragon vein had undoubtedly become his biggest trump card. In the dragon tribe, the level of one's bloodline was very important. When fighting against experts of the same level, the suppression of bloodline might be the key to victory. Jiang Chen's 9th-class dragon vein might be extremely terrifying to the Golden Dragon tribe and even the entire ancient dragon star. The dragon vein determined the future talent and potential of the experts of the dragon tribe. Jiang Chen's 9th-class dragon vein was a hot topic for the people of the dragon tribe. I've just broken through to the Star Emperor realm. My strength is not stable yet. I'm going back to cultivate. Jiang Chen said. Okay, but you have to be careful. This Feng Tong won't let this go easily, Jin Xiaoxiao said, unable to hide her excitement. Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't hide her excitement. Although Jiang Chen had blocked 3 of Feng Tong's attacks, it was almost impossible for him to fight Feng Tong head-on. Jiang Chen nodded and left the blood dragon pool. Breaking through to the Star Emperor realm was undoubtedly something to be happy about for Jiang Chen. Only those in the Star Emperor realm could be called experts. Jiang Chen had already seen the power of the astral pole. Without the astral pole, he might not have been able to suppress the source dragon in a short time. He might even have lost his life. The biggest gain that the astral pole had brought him was the power of the stars. The power of the stars was more than 10 times stronger than the power of origin. With the help of the starlight, he kept tempering his body. With the tempering of the starlight, his dragon transformation was also a lot stronger. The power of the stars was linked with the stars in the sky. It was almost endless. However, He had already gained such a great understanding of the astral pole. When he reached the great accomplishment level of the astral pole, his strength would definitely soar to the ninth heaven. The first layer of starlight had entered his body. Jiang Chen had reached the small accomplishment level. However, if he wanted the astral pole to have a qualitative change, the only way was to devour the stars. The energy in the core of a star was endless, and the power of the stars was also unimaginable. As long as he integrated with the core of a star, Jiang Chen's strength would definitely soar. Moreover, after he cultivated the astral pole, the starlight entering his body made his perception of the core of a star more intense. There was a core of a star in the ancient dragon star. As long as I get the core of a star, I will definitely have a chance to leave this place. Then, repairing the formation will be a piece of cake. Jiang Chen's eyes twinkled as he took a deep breath. Having a goal was the most important thing, but the core of a star was not easy to find. He was completely clueless about the ancient dragon star. If Jiang Chen wanted to find the core of a star, he had to complete it as soon as possible. The cultivation resources of the ancient dragon star were not bad, but he wanted to leave this place and go to the Tianqi star. Whether it was news of Feng Er or the life and death of De Huang and Long San, they were all constantly worrying about Jiang Chen. The qi of the dragon vein in the blood dragon pool had created the source dragon, and it had even become a rank 9 dragon vein. This made Jiang Chen very serious. The source dragon had only been suppressed by him, but it would not be easy to completely refine it. The source dragon was originally a part of Jiang Chen's body, but it had eventually become a living creature. It wanted to take over his body, so Jiang Chen could not let it have its way. However, because of this, Jiang Chen saw the terror of the source dragon. The rank 9 dragon vein was the highest bloodline. Even the golden dragon tribe could not compare to its bloodline. Only after refining the core of a star would Jiang Chen have the confidence to completely suppress the source dragon. At this moment, Jiang Chen could only hurry up and cultivate. Once he completely stabilized his cultivation, the first thing he would do would be to find the core of the ancient dragon star. Only by finding the core could he rekindle his hope. 3 days later, Jiang Chen was still in the midst of cultivation when he heard a deep voice ringing through the skies outside his residence.
Chapter 4678. Jiang Chen furrowed his brows. This voice was somewhat familiar. Could it be the Golden Dragon Clan's leader? What was he doing here? Jiang Chen was slightly moved. However, this was the Patriarch's territory after all. He had to give the Patriarch some face since he was living under their roof. Jiang Chen is flattered by the clan leader's presence. May I know what the clan leader wants? Jiang Chen walked out of the cave dwelling and saw the Golden Dragon Clan's leader, Jin Yiba, standing at the foot of the mountain, looking at him with a face full of smiles. Jin Yiba had made a huge decision to come here. As the Golden Dragon Clan's leader, he had sacrificed a lot. My father is here today to discuss something with you, Jin Xiaoxiao said with a smile. Jin Xiaoxiao said with a smile. Her father had told her to keep Jiang Chen in the Golden Dragon Clan at all costs. She was naturally very happy. Clan leader Jin, please speak your mind, Jiang Chen said without batting an eyelid. Although he didn't know why Jin Yiba had come, he was like a completely different person this time. Needless to say, it must be because of his bloodline. A 9th grade dragon vein was probably unique in the entire Golden Dragon Clan. Previously, he had a request from the Golden Dragon Clan. This time it was the exact opposite. Jin Yiba's eyes were filled with joy. When he looked at Jiang Chen, his eyes were filled with gratification. Since my little friend is so sincere, I won't hide it anymore. I, Jin Yiba, am also a straightforward person. I came today because I have an extremely important matter to discuss with you. Are you willing to marry the daughter of the Golden Dragon Clan? Jin Yiba said with a smile. What? Father, what are you talking about? Jin Xiaoxiao's face was flushed red and her eyes were incomparably bashful. To a girl, this was a huge matter, and at this moment, Jin Yiba had actually said it out loud in front of everyone. Did she still want her face? There were many members of the Golden Dragon Clan watching. This made her want to find a hole to hide in. Even Jiang Chen looked at Jin Yiba with a face full of shock. Wasn't he being too blunt? How could his daughter's marriage be decided so hastily? Jiang Chen looked at Jin Xiaoxiao, but Jin Xiaoxiao didn't dare to look at Jiang Chen at all. Embarrassed, she turned around and ran away. Jiang Chen knew that it was very likely that Jin Xiaoxiao didn't know about this.
Ha ha ha, my daughter is too shy. Little friend, what do you think? Jin Eba was filled with joy as he waited for Jiang Chen's reply. Jiang Chen was also very clear that Jin Eba's reality was reasonable. He only had one goal, and that was to keep Jiang Chen in their Golden Dragon clan. A 9th grade dragon vein. This kind of talent was definitely an unprecedented existence. In addition, he heard that Jiang Chen blocked 3 moves from Feng Tong and the latter couldn't do anything to him. Thus, he favored Jiang Chen even more. If Jiang Chen could become the son-in-law of their Golden Dragon clan, then the rise of the Golden Dragon clan would be just around the corner. As the leader of the clan, Jin Eba's decision was indisputable. It was even the most correct decision. To Jiang Chen, courage was a little frightening because she didn't have such thoughts at all. It was completely Jin Eba's wishful thinking. But now, Jiang Chen couldn't back down. After all, this was someone else's territory. Jin Eba personally came out to matchmake for his daughter. This was already a great pressure for Jiang Chen. Yeah, I think brother Jiang Chen and Her Highness are a perfect match. That's right, a 9th grade dragon vein. I've never heard of it before. In the future, if Jiang Chen can stay in our dragon clan, he might become a legend. That's for sure. A 9th grade dragon vein. That's something that only exists in legends. It wasn't just Jin Eba. Many members of the Dragon Clan who were watching at the foot of the mountain were also full of hope for Jiang Chen. They didn't doubt him like before. No matter where you were, as long as you had absolute strength, you would be able to gain respect. Jiang Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. If he directly rejected Jin Eba, not only would the Golden Dragon Clan lose face, even Jin Xiaoxiao wouldn't know how to face it. I appreciate clan leader Jin's good intentions, but matters of the heart can't be decided by one person. This matter needs to be discussed at length. But rest assured, I will definitely not become a sacrifice for the other 3 clans. Jiang Chen said with a serious face. Jin Eba smiled. Although Jiang Chen didn't directly agree to him, he didn't reject him either. Most importantly, he had directly rejected the other 3 clans. There was only one goal, and that was to let Jin Eba have no worries. Jin Eba let out a sigh of relief. As long as Jiang Chen didn't join the other 3 clans, it was the best news for them. If that's the case, I won't say much. You young people should settle your own matters. However, the doors of the Golden Dragon clan will always be open to you. Ha ha ha. Jin Eba laughed calmly. Jiang Chen had given him enough respect, so he naturally wouldn't pester him. Retreating for the sake of advancing was the best way. Moreover, although Jiang Chen didn't agree to his proposal, he didn't reject it either. Thank you, clan leader Jin. Jiang Chen bid farewell to clan leader Jin and continued his cultivation. The night wind was slightly chilly. Jiang Chen sat on the peak of the mountain, constantly breathing in and out and cultivating the astral pole. The starlight entering his body was getting stronger and stronger, completely stabilizing his cultivation at the peak of the first level of the Star Emperor realm. Come out, Jiang Chen said calmly. He wasn't surprised by Jin Xiaoxiao's appearance. I'm really sorry about what happened during the day. I didn't know father would make such a request. Jin Xiaoxiao said in a low voice. It's okay. I know what clan leader Jin wants. You want me to stay. However, to each his own. You also know that I can't stay on the ancient dragon planet forever. I'll leave when my strength reaches a certain level, or when the teleportation portal is repaired. I'm the one who should be apologizing. Jiang Chen chuckled. As long as you're not angry, Jin Xiaoxiao said while biting her lips. At the same time, she felt an inexplicable sense of loss. She didn't like Jiang Chen, but Jiang Chen's refusal made her feel upset. Could it be that she wasn't charming enough? Jin Xiaoxiao shook her head. She was never an indecisive person, but Jiang Chen's appearance had disrupted her plan. What's there to be angry about? I'm just thinking about the clan. Clan leader Jin, you're not wrong. If I were you, I would do the same. Jiang Chen shrugged. Jin Xiaoxiao covered her mouth and giggled. She teased him. You're really shameless. Who praises themselves like that? You really think you're so popular? Jin Xiaoxiao's smile was beautiful and charming. To Jiang Chen, he didn't have time to care about anything else. He couldn't have any other thoughts. That's right, in a month's time, it will be the ranking competition between the 4 great dragon clans. You can go and give it a try. The most important thing is to participate. If you can take 3 moves from Feng Tong, you might even be able to get a good ranking. Ranking competition. Jiang Chen looked at Jin Xiaoxiao suspiciously. The resources on the ancient dragon planet are limited. Plus, there's a place that the 4 dragon tribes control. Only those who rank high in the ranking competition have the right to cultivate there. Chapter 4679. Who would have thought that there would be such a place in the ancient dragon star? Jiang Chen also looked at Jin Xiaoxiao curiously. That's right. That is the forbidden area of the entire ancient dragon star. Not many people go there, and it is guarded by the elites of the 4 big dragon tribes. No one can enter that place easily. Every 500 years, there will be a battle between the 4 big dragon tribes. The top 10 in the ranking competition will have the opportunity to go there to train for a year. Jin Xiaoxiao's face was full of excitement as she vowed. What is that place? The Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. Legend has it that the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss was created when the leaders of the 4 great dragon tribes joined forces to suppress a peerless heavenly demon. In the worst case, the leaders of the 4 great dragon tribes exhausted their life force to kill the peerless heavenly demon. In the worst case, the 5 of them perished together. The 5 peerless elites became the rocks and ancient trees of the entire Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. That was a bottomless abyss. Even the people of the 4 great dragon tribes had never entered it before because the depths of the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss were extremely terrifying. Some people wanted to explore the deepest part of the abyss, but they never came back. Hence, no one knew how deep the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss was. From then on, no one dared to venture deeper into the immortal abyss. The Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss is also the place with the densest dragon vein qi in the entire ancient dragon star. After all, it is the place where the 4 immemorial dragon tribe ancestors died. Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes were filled with hope. She had long wanted to go to the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss to take a look. That place is known as the last cradle of the ancient dragon star's geniuses. Almost all of the elites in the ancient dragon star have entered the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. The mysteriousness and power of that place are shocking. Everyone is filled with yearning for that place. However, it is not that easy to enter the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss to cultivate. Sigh. Looks like that place is indeed worth going. It is known as the most mysterious place on ancient dragon star, and it is still unknown. There must be something extraordinary about the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. Even the natives of ancient dragon star are curious about that place. Jiang Chen must go and take a look. Jiang Chen's eyes faintly narrowed as he thought in his heart. Even Jin Xiaoxiao was extremely secretive about that place. From the looks of it, entering the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss would definitely not be as easy as imagined. The ranking competition would be the most simple and violent, but also the most terrifying training. Even Jin Xiaoxiao was filled with sorrows. There's still less than a month's time. You should hurry up and train. Otherwise, even if you have the chance to enter the ranking competition, you will only be cannon fodder. Jin Xiaoxiao patted Jiang Chen's shoulder and smiled. Anyway, you'll be the scapegoat. Jiang Chen looked indifferent. TSK. If you want me to be your scapegoat, you need to have the strength to do so. In the ranking battle, does Feng Tong have a chance? Jiang Chen asked. It's hard to say. Last time, he was ranked 17th. This time, his goal is to enter the ranking battle. In the past 500 years, I wonder what kind of geniuses have emerged from the 4 major dragon clans. What about you? Jin Xiaoxiao blushed, appearing a little embarrassed. 29th. But this time, I'm aiming for the top 10. Humph. Do you think a 6th grade dragon vein is a lot? This time, I must get a spot for the Golden Dragon clan. Jin Xiaoxiao's face was filled with pride, as if she was determined to get it. I hope so. Jiang Chen smiled. Since Feng Tong had the chance to enter the top 10, then even if he had to risk his old life, he had to get a good ranking in the ranking battle. He was already a little curious about this legendary Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. A month passed quietly. During this month, Jiang Chen started devouring source stones like crazy. He had hundreds of millions of 5th grade source stones now, which was enough for him to squander for a long time. He only had one goal in this month, which was to break through to the 2nd heaven of the Star Emperor realm. However, Jiang Chen had greatly underestimated the amount of energy a Star Emperor realm expert needed to absorb to break through. Even after devouring millions of source stones, it didn't help. He was still at the peak of the first heaven of the Star Emperor realm. Jiang Chen knew that if he wanted to break through, it wasn't enough to rely on source stones alone. He needed an opportunity. A month later, the leader of the Golden Dragon Clan personally selected 10 young geniuses of the Golden Dragon Clan to follow him to the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. Jiang Chen, let's go. If you want to get the spot for the Golden Dragon Clan, it's up to you. Jin Xiaoxiao said to Jiang Chen, who was standing beside her. There were hundreds and thousands of experts in the Golden Dragon Clan, but only 10 of them were willing to follow their patriarch to participate in the ranking battle. Among these 10, it was up to them to get a good ranking in the battles. Jiang Chen looked at the sea of experts of the Dragon Clan around him and felt a chill in his heart. The Ancient Dragon Clan was indeed one of the 4 major dragon clans of the ancient dragon planet. There were tens of thousands of people from the Dragon Clan gathered here. There were even over 1,000 experts who had surpassed the Star Emperor realm. Such a force was indeed something that Planet Crimson Afterglow couldn't compare to. The ancient dragon planet was worthy of being called one of the top 10 planets in the Apocalypse Star area. On the peak, Jin Iba looked calm and dignified. He looked at the tens of thousands of people of the Dragon Clan and said in a deep voice, "The ranking battle that happens once every 500 years is about to begin. The ranking tournament that happens once every 500 years is about to begin. I believe that all of you are more or less prepared. However, if you want to participate in the ranking tournament of the 4 great dragon clans, there are only 10 slots. These 10 slots will determine whether anyone can kill the top 10. I hope that this time, all of you will not disappoint me." 500 years ago, only one person from the Golden Dragon Clan entered the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss to cultivate. Jin Ibai's voice was extremely solemn. The ranking battle not only concerned the reputation of the 4 major dragon clans, but also their status in the ancient dragon planet. Whoever could make it to the top in the ranking battle would have the future of the ancient dragon planet. This was because the experts who made it to the top in the ranking battle were the true pillars of the ancient dragon planet. 500 years ago, only one person from the Golden Dragon Clan made it to the top 10. It's a bit shabby indeed. Jiang Chen said in a low voice. "Sai, do you think the ranking battle is that easy? Many people might lose their lives in this battle," Jin Xiaoxiao said sadly. Jin Xiaoxiao said in a sorrowful tone. Jiang Chen was slightly surprised. She had never shown such a sorrowful side before. It seemed like the ranking battle had given Jin Xiaoxiao a different kind of sentimental feeling. A real battle between experts should be like this. The road is smooth. How can there be a real expert? They are just flower buds in a greenhouse. Jiang Chen's face was calm. He was already prepared and his eyes were shining. Chapter 4680. As the saying goes, if you want to wear the crown, you must bear its weight. You are all the top geniuses of our Golden Dragon tribe. You are courageous enough to participate in the ranking battle of the 4 great dragon tribes. Only 10 people can obtain such a quota. Whether you can stand out from the crowd of geniuses will depend on your luck. Jin Iba said in a deep voice. As the leader of the Golden Dragon tribe, it was even more impossible for him to make a decision. If he did that, wouldn't it disappoint the majority of the disciples of the Dragon tribe? Hence, Jin Iba decided to let them undergo the baptism. The quota for the ranking battle would naturally be given to those who were capable. I wonder what new tricks the leader has up his sleeves this time. He, but I am determined to get it. Che. No matter what the leader has prepared, I don't care. In front of absolute strength, I am the strongest. Of these 10 quotas, I will reserve one. Ha! Many experts of the Dragon tribe swore. Every one of them wanted to participate in the ranking battle. Although they might not be able to enter the top 10, those who could participate in the ranking battle were all true geniuses. Even if they couldn't obtain a good ranking in the ranking battle, they would definitely be able to attract a lot of attention in the battle between the experts of the 4 great dragon tribes. Being famous was like a pig being fat. Who didn't want to become an expert that could look down on the world? Father intends to treat everyone equally this time. However, this is also a great opportunity for you. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen. This wasn't how the selection of spots for the ranking battle was supposed to be. Her father must have rearranged the selection just for Jiang Chen. I understand. Jiang Chen wasn't an ignorant person. He must have made preparations for such an important matter. This time, he was able to participate. Needless to say, Jin Iba had given him enough face. The temptation of a ninth-grade dragon vein was obviously something that no one could resist. You have 3 days at the bottom of the heavy mystery cliff. Whoever lasts the longest will be the final winner. The final 10 winners will represent our Golden Dragon tribe in the ranking battle of the 4 great dragon tribes. Are you all prepared? Jean Eba said in a deep voice. Always be ready. Their roars reverberated throughout the land, echoing through the mountains and valleys for a long time. This was the power of the Golden Dragon race. Jiang Chen gasped in amazement. Everyone was eager to have a try. Hundreds of Star Emperor Realm experts were ready. The Heavy Mystery Cliff is one of the cliffs of our Golden Dragon clan. It is also a place for cultivation. However, almost no one is willing to go there normally because the pressure at the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff is just too great. Almost no one can cultivate at the bottom of the cliff forever. Even my father can only stay at the bottom of the cliff for 4 or 5 days at most. The gravity there is unimaginable. It is a headache. Jean Xiaoxiao explained to Jiang Chen. Isn't that good? No pressure, no motivation. Ha ha. Jiang Chen laughed heartily. He wasn't afraid in the slightest as he followed the group towards the Heavy Mystery Cliff. This time, I will definitely kick you out of the Dragon Clan. You still want to represent our Dragon Clan in the ranking competition? Humph. Wishful thinking. Feng Tong gazed at Jiang Chen from afar. He had already contacted 5 experts, all of whom were geniuses of the Dragon Clan at the 4th heaven of the Star Emperor realm. If they worked together, it wouldn't be difficult for them to deal with Jiang Chen. They would make it difficult for him to move an inch at the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff. The gravity at the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff is terrifying. If you think you can't handle it, don't force yourself. Jean Xiaoxiao said in a low voice. I know. Jiang Chen watched the experts of the Golden Dragon clan enter the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff one after another. There were more than 700 of them. As soon as he entered the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff, a tremendous pressure pressed down on him from all directions. That terrifying gravity made it hard for him to breathe. Everyone looked solemn and found it difficult to move. They had to find a spacious area to cultivate. The gravity at the bottom of the Heavy Mystery Cliff was getting stronger and stronger. It was like the intersection of heaven and earth, and they were struggling to survive in the cracks. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Not bad. These guys are much stronger than before. I hope they won't disappoint me in the ranking competition this time. Jean Ebai stood at the top of the mountain, silently gazing at the disciples of the Golden Dragon clan. He was quite excited. Grade 9 Dragon Vein. Jiang Chen, I hope you can bring me more surprises. The person that Jean Ebai valued the most was Jiang Chen. Although he was slightly weaker now, his talent and future were limitless. Grade 9 Dragon Vein. Even the leaders of the other 3 clans would be envious of him. Although Jiang Chen couldn't be considered a member of the Golden Dragon clan, Jiang Chen had already made him a promise. With his daughter's peerless beauty, how could he not be tempted? Since ancient times, heroes had a weakness for the charms of a beautiful woman. Jiang Chen was no exception. As long as he could become the son-in-law of the Golden Dragon clan, wouldn't the Golden Dragon clan be controlled by him in the future? Grade 9 Dragon Vein. I wonder if you can handle such a great responsibility? In less than half a day, people had already left the Heavy Mysterious Cliff one after another. This was because the gravitational force of the Heavy Mysterious Cliff was too terrifying. Most importantly, the gravitational force was constantly increasing. When they first entered the Heavy Mysterious Cliff, they didn't have such an intense feeling. As time passed, everyone became drenched in sweat. Those who were able to stay were mostly like arrows at the end of their flight. In less than half a day, more than half of the people had already chosen to leave. Although the ranking battle could make their reputation rise among the 4 great dragon clans, they still needed to be alive to go. If they couldn't even withstand the pressure of the Heavy Mysterious Cliff, they would only be cannon fodder even if they went. Not only would it be shameful, they might even lose their lives there. However, there were also quite a number of people who gritted their teeth and endured the pressure of the gravity with great difficulty. The number of people became fewer and fewer. By dusk, there were less than 100 people left. Among these 100 people, only a few would be able to endure the first day. Everyone had a difficult expression on their faces. Some were silent with their veins bulging, while others were grimacing in pain, waiting for their last chance. Jean Xiaoxiao was also sweating profusely, but she didn't seem to be affected. The peak of the 4th level of the Star Emperor realm was no joke. Even in the entire Golden Dragon clan, there weren't many who could reach that level. Jiang Chen, on the other hand, surprised Jin Xiaoxiao. There were less than 50 people left, but all of them were above the third heaven of the Star Emperor realm. Jiang Chen was the only one in the first heaven of the Star Emperor realm. You're such a weirdo. Grade 9 Dragon Vein. Interesting. Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes lit up even more. Jiang Chen was as still as a mountain. He sat with his legs crossed and didn't seem to feel any pain. It wouldn't be easy to force him to leave the heavy mystery cliff. Chapter 4681. Jiang Chen frowned, because at that moment, he felt at least 5 powerful forces exerting pressure on him. It seems that someone doesn't want me to participate in the ranking battle, Jiang Chen said with a smile. Feng Tong's cold smile when he looked back from afar had also revealed his target. Several pressures came from all directions. Jiang Chen was already under the pressure of the Dark Cliff, and now he was under the pressure of 5-star Royal Realm experts. The pressure was unimaginable, but no one could feel it at the moment. Pressure was intangible, not to mention that they were under the Dark Cliff. No one cared about it. Those people had obviously come prepared, and their target was clear. If Jiang Chen was right, those people must have been arranged by Feng Tong. That guy wanted to kill him here. If he couldn't even participate in the ranking battle, wouldn't his 9th-class Dragon Vein be an exaggeration? By then, the chief of the Golden Dragon clan wouldn't think so highly of him. What a sinister plan. It seems that the Golden Dragon clan is also a place of filth. Jiang Chen sneered. However, with his 9th-class Dragon Vein, the Dark Cliff couldn't suppress him at all. Even the 15 experts in the 3rd or 4th heaven of the Star Royal Realm couldn't do anything to him. Jiang Chen's way of ascending to the heavens was invincible. No one could suppress him in terms of momentum. Facing the encirclement of so many people, Jiang Chen was still calm and unruffled. Since you want to kill me so much, don't blame me for being merciless. Jiang Chen shifted his consciousness and started to fight back. It wasn't difficult for Jiang Chen to fight back. He just didn't want to get himself into trouble at the moment. However, those guys from the Golden Dragon clan were too aggressive, so he had no choice but to fight back. Jiang Chen had always been a person who wouldn't offend others if they didn't offend him. However, if others offended him, then they wouldn't have it easy either. Jiang Chen's level 9 Dragon Vein was completely released at this time. The terrifying dragon might kept suppressing the 5 experts of the Golden Dragon tribe. In less than 15 minutes, the 5 experts of the 3rd or 4th heaven of the Star Emperor realm all changed their expressions. It was already difficult for them to bear the pressure in the Dark Cliff. With the addition of the pressure from Jiang Chen, each of them was in great pain. The power of the level 9 Dragon Vein made them feel extremely bitter. None of them had expected that Jiang Chen could have such a terrifying chi power when he fought against the 5 of them alone. The reason was that his level 9 Dragon Vein was not something these people could compare with. If this continues, I'm afraid we'll be the first to be kicked out. So what? That fella is way too scary. We're no match for a grade 9 Dragon Meridian. That's right. We can't do anything to him under the heavy mysterious cliff. What a coward. You don't have to say that. If I could kill him in minutes. If it weren't for the level 9 Dragon Vein, I could kill him as easily as killing an ant, considering that he has just broken through to the Star Emperor realm. Many experts of the Dragon tribe were in great pain. Blue veins were bulging on their faces, and their scalps were numb. Facing Jiang Chen's level 9 Dragon Vein, they could only lament their inadequacy. At first, no one had expected such an ending, but it was even more difficult for them than it was for Jiang Chen. No, I can't hold it anymore. Me too. People were kicked out by Jiang Chen one after another. Under the heavy mysterious cliff, those experts in the 3rd or 4th sky of the Star Emperor realm were kicked out one after another, which surprised many people. They had thought they could have the last laugh, but it turned out to be a big blow to them. In this ranking battle, those 5 people had been very confident. But now, it seemed that they had failed. In order to help Feng Tong deal with Jiang Chen, they went for wool and came home shorn. Jiang Chen sneered. Seeing the 5 people being kicked out of the heavy mysterious cliff, everyone looked gloomy. They gnashed their teeth and wished they could eat their flesh. Jiang Chen's grade 9 Dragon Meridian showed them what real terror was. We can't let this guy live. Otherwise, we won't have a good time in the future. For the 5 of them, losing the opportunity to participate in the ranking battle was painful. The patriarch had set the rule that whoever could stay under the heavy mysterious cliff for the longest time would be the final winner. If they couldn't even get a spot, then there was no way they could stand out in the ranking battle. Feng Tong didn't expect that Jiang Chen could stay calm in the face of 5 experts in the 3rd or 4th sky of the Star Emperor realm. Moreover, he fought back with all his strength and kicked all of his people out. It was a slap in his face. Looking at the resentful eyes of the 5 fellows, Feng Tong felt that he had lost his face. After all, he was the one who had harmed them. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He wished he could cut Jiang Chen into pieces. This outsider had turned the Golden Dragon clan upside down in less than half a year's time. If he was allowed to become more arrogant in the future, there would be no place for him in the Dragon clan.
Jiang Chen, I won't let you go. We'll deal with this later. I'll teach you a lesson in the ranking battle.
Feng Tong said fiercely. Jiang Chen smiled calmly. After a day and a night of pressure, the experts of the Dragon tribe were eliminated one after another. Finally, there were only 10 people left, and these 10 people would be the final participants. Seeing that there were only 10 people left, Jiang Chen left the heavy mysterious cliff first. After all, he had already obtained a place to participate in the ranking battle. There was no point in staying here any longer. However, for the people of the Dragon tribe, fighting for the first place was the most honorable thing to do. Everyone was clenching their teeth and persisting. Jiang Chen had already escaped. He. It's said that it's a 9th grade dragon vein, but I think it's just compared to our Commander Feng, it's much weaker.
That's right. The difference in strength can't be made up. So what if it's a 9th grade dragon vein? Do you think he can soar to the sky in one go?
You can't say that. After all, a 9th grade dragon vein is an extraordinary talent. Under the pressure of the heavy mysterious cliff, it's already not easy for him to enter the top 10. Towards Jiang Chen, there were people who respected him, but there were also people who mocked him. After all, a 9th grade dragon vein was too rare. No one knew how terrifying a 9th grade dragon vein was. But at least from the looks of it, it was far inferior to Commander Feng and the princess. Jiang Chen couldn't be bothered with those crazy words. He only wanted a place to participate in the ranking battle. I'm not a masochist. I don't want to be pressured to the point where I can't breathe. Moreover, the tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. After all, he was in someone else's tribe. What if he made the people of the Dragon tribe lose face? What should he do? The top 10 had already been obtained. Jiang Chen knew when to stop. At this moment, his face was calm and contented. On top of the mountain, Jean Eba frowned and murmured. Chapter 4682. On the evening of the second day, the last 2 people, Jin Xiaoxiao and Feng Tong, slowly walked out of the heavy mystic cliff, causing a burst of cheers. Feng Tong! Feng Tong! The cheers resounded throughout the heavy mystic cliff. Feng Tong was able to become the commander of the Golden Dragon clan because of his reputation. Even Jin Xiaoxiao was slightly inferior to him. It's still Commander Feng after all. He's much better than those useless good-for-nothings. Ha! Second aunt, it's hard for you to enter the Hall of Elegance. Do you really think that fellow can become the pride of our Golden Dragon clan?
That's true.
We don't need to be afraid of not knowing what's good for us. It seems that Commander Feng is the most trustworthy one. The disciples of the Golden Dragon clan all gave a thumbs up to Feng Tong. His position in the Golden Dragon clan was unquestionable. Your Highness, now you should understand who is the one who can protect you, right? If you encounter any difficulties in the future, he won't be able to protect you. So what if he's a 9th grade dragon vein? In the end, he can't even withstand the pressure of the heavy mystic cliff. I really don't dare to praise him. Ha! Feng Tong's face was full of arrogance and his eyes were cold. In the Dragon clan, he was the one who could truly carry the flag. The others were just trash. No one could compete with him. Even Jiang Chen, who had a 9th grade dragon vein, was just a flash in the pan. His position in the Dragon clan was earned by his own ability.
That's right.
Jin Xiaoxiao's face was cold. No one would remember the second place. After all, she was still inferior to Feng Tong. Jiang Chen left the heavy mystic cliff hastily. She was also very surprised. Logically speaking, Jiang Chen shouldn't be like this. The one who had the highest chance of competing with Feng Tong was him. It's still too early to talk about this. Let's talk about it after you get a ranking in the ranking battle. Jin Xiaoxiao turned around and left. However, Feng Tong didn't care. Right now, he was the most outstanding person in the Dragon Clan. Enjoying the cheers and support, Feng Tong's eyes were cold. He murmured in his heart, pretending to be noble. Humph. One day, I'll make you scream under my crotch. Feng Tong did not disappoint, causing Genie Bai to have a whole new level of respect for him. Although Jiang Chen had obtained the top 10 at the heavy mysterious cliff, he was only ranked 10th. Could it be that he had placed too much hope on Jiang Chen? Genie Bai sighed in his heart. A grade 9 dragon vein was indeed an outstanding talent, but if Jiang Chen did not work hard enough, he would also fade into the crowd. He was blessed by the heavens, but he did not know how to cherish it, so he could not blame anyone else. Jin Xiaoxiao arrived at Jiang Chen's residence. He was in the middle of cultivating. You left the heavy mysterious cliff a long time ago and stayed away from the hustle and bustle by yourself. You really know how to hide in peace. Jin Xiaoxiao smiled. There's no difference between first place and 10th place. Why should I be bullied there? As long as you can get a spot in the ranking battle, it's fine. Whoever can laugh until the end will be the one with the best smile. Jiang Chen said lightly. Jin Xiaoxiao frowned and said, Feng Tong and the others made a move against you? You could say that, but those people shot themselves in the foot. I've already kicked them out of the competition. Jiang Chen had an indifferent expression. I knew it. This guy will definitely not let it go. Jin Xiaoxiao felt apologetic. If it wasn't for her, Jiang Chen would not have to suffer Feng Tong's harassment. You can't be blamed completely. Perhaps he is already afraid of the grade 9 dragon vein, afraid that I will steal his thunder in the Dragon Clan. Of course, Jiang Chen knew that this Feng Tong was not someone who could be easily dealt with. It wasn't that he didn't want to take revenge, it wasn't the right time yet. Once the ranking battle began, if he had the chance to kill Feng Tong, he wouldn't show any mercy. This Feng Tong, I will teach him a lesson sooner or later. Jin Xiaoxiao said fiercely. Get ready, Jiang Chen. The day after tomorrow, Father will bring us to the High Sun Mountain Range. The gathering place of the 4 great dragon clans is there. Moreover, the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss is at the High Sun Mountain Range. It will be jointly managed by the 4 great dragon clans. Got it, thank you. The High Sun Mountain Range was located slightly west of the center of the ancient dragon star. Along the way, there were endless mountain ranges, rivers, glaciers, and green fields. Moreover, many demonic beasts on the ancient dragon star were descendants of the Dragon Clan, and more or less carried some Dragon Clan bloodline. After all, this was the world of the Dragon Clan, and only a small number of demonic beasts were independent. However, after tens of thousands of years of metamorphosis, the demonic beasts that could survive were considered very tenacious. The mountains around the mountain range were strangely dangerous, and filled with a general trend. Perilous peaks towered into the clouds, dotting the landscape like stars in the sky. We're here. Genie Bai took a deep breath. 500 years ago, only one member of the Golden Dragon Clan had entered the ranking battle, and the cultivation path of the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss was out of reach for the Golden Dragon Clan. This time, I will not return empty-handed. Feng Tong's face was grave. Back then, his cultivation was only at the initial 4th layer of the Star Emperor realm, and he did not enter the top 10. This time, however, he would definitely avenge his previous humiliation. Even if he could not come out on top, he would definitely become the pride of the Golden Dragon Clan. This place is indeed vast and rich in Genesis Chi. Jiang Chen nodded. The legendary land of dragons and tigers was likely nothing more than this. This is the place with the densest Genesis Chi in the entire ancient dragon star. It is said that millions of years ago, the ancestors of the 4 great dragon clans fought over this place. In the end, they made an agreement that this place would be designated as a training ground, and a place for the geniuses of the 4 great dragon clans to cultivate. No one is allowed to set foot here. Jin Xiaoxiao's expression was grim. Jiang Chen nodded, not daring to tarry. It seems that there were many secrets on the ancient dragon star. Genie Bai led 2 Golden Dragon Clan elders and 10 Dragon Clan geniuses as they swooped down towards the 10,000-foot platform below the mountain range, brimming with confidence. Welcome, clan leader. The 4 elders were all smiles as they cupped their hands together and nodded at Genie Bai. They were naturally overjoyed to see the Golden Dragon clan members. The 4 elders are all at the 6th layer of the Star Emperor realm, and are extremely powerful. They are the guardians of this place, guarding the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. There is a cycle every 500 years. After the ranking battle, they can return home and be replaced by another clan elder. Jean Xiaoxiao said to Jiang Chen beside her in a low voice. No wonder they're so powerful. Jiang Chen was inwardly surprised. It seemed that the foundations of the 4 great dragon clans were quite powerful. Just the 4 6th-layer Star Emperor experts alone made one feel an immense pressure. Ha ha ha, elders, you've worked hard. I'll hold a welcoming banquet for all of you when you return to the Dragon Clan after the ranking battle. Jean Ebai said with a face full of gratification. These protectors were the backbone of their dragon clan. Thank you, clan leader. Joy was revealed on the faces of the 4 elders, already eager to return home. Ha ha ha, it's been 500 years, but clan leader Jean is still as impressive as ever. Chapter 4683. Jean Ebai's expression was a little gloomy. This guy would always mock him whenever he was down and out. He was also the person Jean Ebai hated the most among the 4 great dragon clans. Han Che, the patriarch of the proud Sky Dragon clan. Likewise. Clan leader Han, you look just as graceful as you were back then. Humph. Jean Ebai sneered. I can't. 500 years ago, only 3 people from our proud Sky Dragon clan entered the ranking battle. After I went back, I thought about it and became even more nervous. This year, we must let those little brats show off their abilities. No matter how bad it is, it shouldn't be that only 1 person entered, right? Ha! Han Che laughed loudly, obviously mocking Jean Ebai. This guy is simply too detestable. None of the people from the proud Sky Dragon clan are good people. Jean Xiaoxiao said through gritted teeth. Clearly, the relationship between the AO Sky Dragon clan and the Golden Dragon clan wasn't that good. Thank you, Clan Chief Han. This time, your proud Sky Dragon clan will definitely not be able to compare to our Golden Dragon clan. Jean Ebai said coldly. Is that so? Then I'll have to wait and see. It's good that Chief Jean is so confident. I wouldn't be surprised even if none of your Golden Dragon clan entered the top 10. After all, 500 years ago, your Golden Dragon clan only managed to obtain 1 spot. But you don't need to be discouraged, clan leader Jean. Don't worry, there's always a way out. Our lifespan is endless. We have at least 10,000 years left. This 10,000 years is enough for you to see someone enter the ranking competition. I believe that the people of the Golden Dragon clan will not be so disappointing. Han Che's face was filled with arrogance. Back then, the Golden Dragon clan had lost all face. Now that he had finally caught hold of Jean Ebai's weakness, how could he let him off so easily? Every dog has its day. Who knows who the flower will fall to this year? Patriarch Han, don't be happy too early. You might end up crying in the future. Jean Ebai didn't want to be outdone. At this moment, as the clan leader, he naturally couldn't lose the limelight. Until the most crucial moment, no one knew who would have the last laugh. I hope so. Han Che said calmly. This time, you must show mercy. Don't let our brothers from the Golden Dragon tribe lose too badly. Do you understand? Han Che looked at the disciple of the proud Sky Dragon clan behind him with a solemn expression. Yes, clan leader. We definitely won't let them get hurt. The valiant man leading the group said disdainfully as he looked at the sky. This fellow is the proud Sky Dragon clan's proud Cloud Dragon. Back then, he was only a step away from obtaining the qualifications to enter the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. Unfortunately, he was kicked out in the end. His strength cannot be underestimated. Compared to Feng Tong, he might even surpass him. Jean Xiaoxiao explained to Jiang Chen. He's at least at the 5th heaven of the Star Emperor realm. Jiang Chen nodded and said, as expected of an expert from the proud Sky Dragon clan. Looks like he's really aggressive. Yun Dragon, he Jean. Che. Should, first. Should. Take care. First. Yun. First. Dawn. Should. Start. Che, dawn. Mind. Dawn. Should. I. Should. Yun and Anan and 1. That's right.
Take care of yourselves. Don't embarrass yourselves. The proud Sky Dragon clan is as arrogant as ever. But I'm afraid you'll be disappointed this time. Humph. You have to be capable if you want to come out on top in the ranking battle. For the experts of the Golden Dragon tribe, they were also suppressing their anger. Their terrible results 500 years ago had left them speechless. This time they had to come out on top. At the very least, they couldn't let the people of the Golden Dragon tribe look down on them. Let's wait and see, Ao Yunlong said coldly. Ao Yunlong said coldly and glanced at the people of the Golden Dragon race. He had never placed this group of people in his eyes from the start. The people of the Golden Dragon tribe and the proud Sky Dragon tribe all had gloomy expressions. This ranking battle would definitely be very exciting. At that time, there would probably be countless sparks flying. Rumble. A series of earth-shaking sounds could be heard. More than 10 figures descended from the sky, blocking out the sun and the sky. They were all giants that were hundreds of feet tall, causing all the demonic beasts in the forest to retreat in fear. The dinosaur clan has always been so high profile. That's right. It's like they're afraid that others won't know they're here. Humph humph. I wonder how strong they are. The dinosaur clan is just bluffing. This time, I'll teach them a lesson. A scholar who hasn't seen for 3 days must be looked at differently. Plus, it's been 500 years. Who knows how much the dinosaur clan has changed? But, this is a big problem. More than 10 terrifying dragon silhouettes filled the sky. They were the experts of the dinosaur clan. At this moment, Jean Xiaoxiao's eyes turned incomparably cold because Claude, who almost caused her to lose her life, was one of them. She would absolutely not let this matter rest. Bastard! This time, I'll teach you a lesson, Jean Xiaoxiao said fiercely. As long as we enter the ranking battle, we'll have a chance. Jiang Chen said with a smile. You have to be careful. He hates you more than me. If you hadn't saved me, he would have succeeded. Jean Xiaoxiao reminded. Once Jiang Chen was caught by him, he would be in a very dangerous situation. I know. But the one who wants to kill me, Jiang Chen, hasn't been born yet. In the sky, the giant dragon with 2 claws was Claude's clone. Claude and Jiang Chen stared at each other. Terrifying rays of light shot out from their eyes, as if they wanted to skin each other alive. Little bastard, I didn't think we'd meet again. This time I'll crush you to death. Claude raised his head and said with an evil smile. Long time no see, Lan Yu. Your dinosaur clan always likes to be so high profile. Jean Eba said indifferently as he looked at the giant dragon. That guy was the chief of the dinosaur clan, the blue lightning tyrant dragon, Lan Yu. He, if you don't have any influence, how can you live up to the reputation of the 4 great dragon clans? You're just a nobody, and you're not qualified to be the champion of the ranking battle. Lan Yu was gasping for breath. His voice was loud, but he said it in a light tone. His face was filled with pride. The strength of the dinosaur tribe was even stronger than that of the proud Sky Dragon tribe and the Golden Dragon tribe. This was where his pride came from. Chief Lan is really domineering. Be careful. Don't bite your tongue. Ha 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 ha. Han Che's face was also gloomy. The feeling of being trampled on by others was very unpleasant to him. Even if he couldn't come out on top this time, he would definitely trample these 2 fellows under his feet. Otherwise, the dinosaur tribe would be too arrogant. The ranking battle has always been based on one's ability. Lan Yu didn't care about Han Che's threat at all. At this moment, a wave of dark clouds enveloped everything within 1,000 miles, causing the entire mountain range to turn dark. It's the Eternal Dragon Clan. Chapter 4684. Eternal Dragon Tribe. Jiang Chen's expression was solemn as he looked straight at the dark clouds in the sky. Everyone on the scene became solemn and held their breaths in rapt attention. To every disciple of the Dragon Tribe, the Eternal Dragon Tribe was the highest existence in their hearts. Since ancient times, the dignity of the Eternal Dragon Tribe could not be violated. Although there were 4 dragon tribes in name on the ancient dragon star, the Eternal Dragon Tribe far surpassed the other 3 dragon tribes in terms of strength, power, and presence. The legend of the Eternal Dragon Clan had spread across the entire universe. There was no one who didn't know about it. Jiang Chen had also heard about it a long time ago. He even had a reverse scale of the Eternal Dragon Clan. Jean Xiaoxiao looked sincere. To her,
The existence of the Eternal Dragon tribe was superior to the other 3 tribes. This was established and acknowledged. It seems like the Eternal Dragon tribe is the real king of the ancient dragon star. Jiang Chen looked at Jin Xiaoxiao. Of course. In the ancient dragon star, no one can go against the ancient dragon tribe. Jin Xiaoxiao bowed slightly as if she was welcoming the arrival of the Eternal Dragon tribe. Welcome, Tribe Leader Mo. Welcome, Tribe Leader Mo. Dozens of people from the 3 dragon tribes bowed to the dark clouds. Their voices were filled with respect. A giant black dragon was soaring in the sky. At that moment, the experts of the dinosaur tribe had transformed into their human forms under Lan Yu's lead. They did not dare to fight with the experts of the Eternal Dragon tribe. The black dragon flew up and roared. The dragon might swept across the area, sending chills down everyone's spine. Only Jiang Chen did not look at the black dragon. He wore a solemn smile. The dragon might of the black dragon was very strong. His strength was unquestionable. 8th grade dragon vein. Jiang Chen was surprised. It seemed like the tribe leader of the Eternal Dragon tribe was a ruthless character. Behind the black dragon, more than 20 figures appeared in the sky and followed closely behind. Everyone, I trust you have been well since we last met. After 500 years, all of you are still as graceful as ever, said the black dragon softly. However, his voice was filled with an incomparably intense pressure. Although it was released invisibly, it was clearly done intentionally. Especially when the black dragon looked at Jiang Chen, a look of astonishment flashed through his eyes. Clearly, the bloodline of Jiang Chen had caused him to be extremely puzzled. Jiang Chen's heart sank. This guy's eyesight was rather sharp. Thank you for your concern, Clan Chief Mo. I hope that the experts of the Eternal Dragon Clan will show mercy in today's battle. Ha! Lan Yu laughed haughtily and said. He was also very respectful towards Clan Leader Mo. After all, Clan Leader Mo's strength was there for all to see. The Eternal Dragon Clan could become the leader of the 4 great dragon clans. It was not a joke. If Clan Leader Mo was stronger than Clan Leader Mo, who would be willing to be under him? That's right. In my opinion, the experts of the Eternal Dragon Clan should not participate. Of the 10 spots, 5 of them will definitely be from the Eternal Dragon Clan. Han Che chimed in. To them, the prestige of the Eternal Dragon Clan was something that no one could challenge. No matter what kind of person they were, they all liked to listen to flattery. Han Che and Lan Yu were very good at flattery. Jin Yiba had never liked this. His status among the 4 great dragon clans was also the lowest. Although it might not be that bad, the Golden Dragon Clan was also the most disliked. It seems like your father is indeed too straightforward. Jiang Chen smiled. However, the competition between the 4 great dragon clans could not be decided by a few witty words. In the end, it still depended on each party's means. This time, I will definitely not let my father down. Compared to back then, Jin Xiaoxiao's confidence was definitely even greater. It was already extremely good if she could obtain a spot for the Golden Dragon tribe. More importantly, if Jin Xiaoxiao could emerge victorious in the ranking battle, her father would no longer have to be as disappointed as he was back then and be mocked by others. Old friends, you are too polite. This year's competition will definitely surpass the past. Mo Xiaolong smiled calmly. Half of the top 10 experts of the Eternal Dragon Clan behind him were at the 5th heaven of the Star Emperor realm. In an instant, not only Jin Yiba, but even Han Che and Lan Yu, who had been smiling, looked at each other and gasped. It seemed that the Eternal Dragon Clan had indeed produced a lot of experts over the past 500 years. Such a force made the experts of their clan very nervous. There were already 5 experts at the 5th heaven of the Star Emperor realm. It was obvious that they would occupy at least half of the seats. No wonder Mo Xiaolong was so calm. It seemed that he had been prepared for this. Damn it, these Eternal Dragon Clan guys are too ruthless. Exactly. The experts of the Eternal Dragon Clan are far superior to us. It seems that it will be very difficult to stand out among them. So what? We'll just take it one step at a time. After all, the Eternal Dragon Clan is the leader of the 4 great dragon clans. I'm definitely going to suffer a setback in this ranking battle. I had some confidence at first, but now it seems that it's really depressing. Many experts of the 3 clans began to complain. However, the situation was worse than the people. If one did not have the ability, then it was reasonable to be eliminated. Survival of the fittest. This was the truth that had existed since ancient times. This time, we should be more relaxed. Let these juniors struggle on their own. White Bamboo Peak stretches for 90,000 miles and is the largest primeval forest in the High Sun Mountain Range. I will put 10 Chaos Source Orbs into it. Whoever obtains them will be qualified to be the final winner. There are clear numbers on the Chaos Source Orbs, from 1st to 10th. You can decide for yourselves. The reward for the first place will be increased from 50 million Grade 5 Source Stones last year to 100 million Grade 5 Source Stones. What do you think, chiefs? Mo Xiaolong's arrangement caused everyone's expression to turn gloomy. After all, this was not a joke. Although 50 million Origin Stones was not a small amount, they could still afford it. However, White Bamboo Peak was filled with dangers. It was not that easy to obtain 10 Chaos Source Orbs. Wasn't this clearly telling them to fight among themselves? At that time, it was uncertain who would emerge victorious. This was extremely advantageous for the Eternal Dragon Clan, but for the other 3 clans, it was like walking on a tightrope. But who asked the Eternal Dragon Clan to be the leader of the 4 clans? Who asked the Eternal Dragon Clan to be stronger? The value of this Chaos Source Orb is not cheap, but most importantly, it contains a large amount of Dragon Vein Qi, which can raise the grade of bloodline by a lot. It's quite attractive. Jin Xiaoxiao said. But this White Bamboo Peak battle is too disadvantageous for us. The experts of the Eternal Dragon Clan are too strong. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen with a face full of worry. This time, even if she wanted to squeeze into the top 10, it would be extremely difficult. Chapter 4685. To Lan Yu, Han Che, and the others, Mo Xiaolong's arrangement was simply tailor-made for their Eternal Dragon Clan. This gave them an incomparable headache, but with Mo Xiaolong's status and prestige, even if they had any thoughts, they dared not speak up. After all, the strength of the Eternal Dragon Clan was not something they could compare with. Jin Yibai's eyes flickered, but he was also speechless. If anyone dared to oppose Mo Xiaolong at this moment, wouldn't that be clearly opposing the Eternal Dragon Clan? As the leader of the 4 great dragon clans, they had to give him face. The 3 looked at each other and could only nod while clenching their teeth. Mo Xiaolong also nodded slightly, calm and unruffled. Since everyone is willing to give me, Mo Xiaolong, face, I will not pass on this responsibility. These 10 Chaos Origin Orbs are numbered from 1 to 10, and each one is different. Which one you obtain will depend on your luck. The ranking battle is about to begin at this moment. Mo Xiaolong said with a smile, as if he was sure that he would win. Even Jiang Chen was displeased to see that. The 5th Heavenly Layer Star Emperor experts had already occupied half of the ranking battle. Those who were as strong as them were not as strong as them. The ranking battle in White Bamboo Peak would be filled with bloodshed, and many people would die in it. Jiang Chen was not sure if Mo Xiaolong's group was strong enough to compete with them. Looks like we can only take it one step at a time. Jiang Chen shrugged. He had always been ready to deal with whatever came his way. Preparing for a rainy day was too troublesome, and he would just use his fists. The 3 swordsmen of the Eternal Dragon Clan, Mo Yun, Mo Di, and Mo Chen, are not easy to deal with. They were already famous 300 years ago. Legend has it that the 3 of them once killed a 6th heaven of the Star Emperor realm demonic beast. They are the most frightening characters in this ranking battle. Jin Xiaoxiao had obviously made sufficient preparations for the ranking tournament this time. Even if there were strong enemies on all sides, she still secretly resolved that she must get into the top 10, and she would do it at all costs. We will follow clan leader Mo's arrangement, Jin Yibai said indifferently. Since there was no other choice, they could only leave it to fate. Who would have the last laugh would depend on their own luck. All right. Since that's the case, listen to my command. From now on, all of you can enter White Bamboo Peak for a month. At that time, whoever obtains the Chaos Origin Orb will have the qualifications to enter the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss to cultivate. The Chaos Origin Orb will emit its unique aura within a radius of 10 miles, so do your best. I declare the ranking battle starts. Mo Xiaolong waved his hand and 10 Chaos Origin beads were scattered around White Bamboo Peak. Following his command, the entire High Sun Mountain Range began to stir. Numerous meteor-like figures rushed towards White Bamboo Peak. Everyone's eyes were burning with passion. Follow me, Jiang Chen. If we manage to obtain 2 Chaos Origin Orbs, it will be your good fortune. Jin Xiaoxiao solemnly said. From her point of view, Jiang Chen was still the fellow that needed her protection. Although his strength was not ordinary, his cultivation was still there. If he were to clash with Feng Tong head-on, Jiang Chen would not be able to last more than 5 rounds. Even she would be able to easily defeat him. Back then, he had been able to distinguish himself at the heavy mysterious cliff due to his grade 9 dragon vein. However, in a true battle, the benefits that a grade 9 dragon vein could bring him were negligible. Then I'll be waiting for you to give me a Chaos Origin Orb, Jiang Chen said with a smile, before entering White Bamboo Peak together with Jin Xiaoxiao. Let's see how long you can remain arrogant for. Jiang Chen, I will definitely kill you this time. Feng Tong clenched his fist and turned his head to look at Jiang Chen. He had already rushed forward. When everyone had left the High Sun Mountain range, only the leaders of the 4 great dragon tribes were left on the mountain peak. Everyone began to exchange pleasantries. However, there was an extremely solemn look on their faces. These were the most outstanding geniuses of their tribes. If anyone could distinguish themselves, not only would their name shake the entire ancient dragon star, it would also greatly increase the strength of their tribes. The experts of the Eternal Dragon Tribe had always held an absolute advantage. Furthermore, the Eternal Dragon Tribe was revered. This was also the reason why they were able to dominate the universe. The Eternal Dragon Tribe was always the highest tribe, even above the humans. The climate and environment of White Bamboo Peak was extremely harsh. When Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao stepped into it, they finally understood. In the forest, thistles and thorns were everywhere. Almost all of them were barren hills and rugged ancient trees. Occasionally, there would be a few ear-piercing roars that reverberated in the air. It was terrifying. There are many beasts here. I have never seen many of them before. Their strength is no weaker than the dragon tribe. These beasts can survive in the ancient dragon star for thousands of years and continue to evolve. Other than not being as strong as the dragon tribe, they are also a force that cannot be underestimated. Jin Xiaoxiao reminded. Their existence is reasonable. The fact that they can coexist with the 4 great dragon tribes is enough to prove their strength. Jiang Chen agreed with her. No matter which astral it was the same. Ecological balance was extremely important. If there were only the 4 great dragon tribes left in the ancient dragon star, they would be destroyed step by step. In the past, one of our brothers from the Golden Dragon tribe died here. He was bitten to death by a poisonous python. We could only watch him die without being able to do anything. That was because the poisonous python was too strong. It was stronger than any of us. Jin Xiaoxiao was a little disappointed. Thinking of the past, it was hard for her to let go. It was something that she could not forget. She had been brooding over it. This time, only by obtaining a place in the ranking tournament and completing the wish of the brother in the tribe, she might be able to completely untie the knot in her heart. Don't think too much. Living in the present is the most important thing. I believe that we will not return empty-handed in the ranking tournament this time, Jiang Chen said firmly. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at him in a daze. This guy was rather confident. Even she was starting to believe him. I hope it will be as you say. Jin Xiaoxiao stroked her hair and said with a smile. She was like a white lotus, clear and charming. However, there was an indescribable wildness in her. She seemed to bring out the best in this gloomy and mysterious primitive forest. The two of them ran all the way and began to search for the mixed origin pearl. It was the pass to enter the Earth Dragon Ancient Abyss. It was a treasure in everyone's eyes. Whoever found the mixed origin pearl first would be equivalent to obtaining the key. As for whether they could bring it out of this place, it was hard to imagine. At dusk, the sun set in the mountain stream. Hard work did not fail those who put in effort. Jin Xiaoxiao and Jiang Chen could be said to be extremely lucky. They actually found a mixed origin pearl. Furthermore, there were 7 lines on the mixed origin pearl. In other words, it was the 7th mixed origin pearl. Chapter 4686. Primal Origin Pearl. It's really the Primal Origin Pearl. Jin Xiaoxiao tightly grasped the Primal Origin Pearl in her hand. Her face was filled with excitement and her eyes were filled with starlight. She was so excited that she couldn't control her emotions. In other words, as long as she could hold on to the Primal Origin Pearl, she would definitely be able to enter the top 10 in the ranking battle. Jin Xiaoxiao held the primal origin pearl in her hand. This time, she would definitely obtain a spot for the Golden Dragon tribe. Looks like your luck is really too good. Jiang Chen smiled. Jin Xiaoxiao's excitement wasn't only because she had obtained a spot in the top 10 of the ranking battle. More importantly, she had become her father's pride and the face of the Golden Dragon tribe. This was the most important thing. Jiang Chen. I won't be courteous with this primal origin pearl. Let's continue searching and find another one for you. Jin Xiaoxiao cautiously said. She looked around, afraid that someone was secretly spying on them. Jiang Chen nodded. The 7th-ranked primal origin pearl was naturally not his goal. His goal was first place. The allure of 400 million grade 5 origin stones was quite great. Everyone raised their heads in anticipation. Whoever could come out on top and obtain the 400 million grade 5 origin stones would become the most dazzling existence on White Bamboo Peak. I'm afraid that you won't have this chance. Heh. A lustful laughter was heard. 3 silhouettes appeared beside Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao. They were none other than Claude, an expert of the dinosaur race who had fought them before. You again. Jin Xiaoxiao's face darkened. This guy was like a ghost that wouldn't go away. Ha ha ha, I've been following you guys since the beginning. I still remember the hatred from that sword strike. If I don't deal with you too, where would I put my face? Claude said with a cold smile. He had been scheming for a long time. However, he didn't expect that there would be an unexpected harvest. These 2 unlucky bastards must have stepped on some kind of dog-shit luck to find a primal origin pearl. Wasn't good things coming in pairs? Brotherda, these 2 actually dared to provoke you. Aren't they tired of living? He's simply courting death. Isn't that so? There's also a burden. Ha ha ha, we'll have to play with this woman later. The princess of the Golden Dragon tribe. TSK. 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 That figure, that skin, that face. The faces of the 2 men behind Claude were also filled with desire, and the corners of their mouths were already drooling. Don't worry, there will be plenty of benefits for you later. Claude stood with his arms crossed, speaking with fervor and assurance. This time, don't even think of escaping from my hands. Jin Xiaoxiao took a deep breath and subconsciously passed the Chaos Origin Orb in her hand to Jiang Chen. If I really can't beat them, I'll take the Chaos Origin Pearl and run as far as I can. Jiang Chen looked at her in surprise. He did not expect Jin Xiaoxiao to be so decisive, directly handing over the Chaos Origin Pearl to him. This trust touched Jiang Chen slightly. Don't worry, I'm here. Even if we have to fight to the death, we can't let them succeed. Jiang Chen grabbed Jin Xiaoxiao's hand and returned the Chaos Origin Pearl to her once more. Jin Xiaoxiao was even more astonished. Jiang Chen was actually not tempted by the Chaos Origin Pearl at all, and even insisted on dying together with him. You were the one who fled from my life previously. Humph. Jin Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes flickered with incomparable coldness. Trying to be eloquent and not knowing what's good for you. However, consider yourself unlucky to fall into my hands. The 2 of you die. Claude sneered with killing intent. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Wasn't it perfect to kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Killing and robbing. Leave this little girl to me. The 2 of you deal with that guy. Claude was the first to attack, closing in on Jin Xiaoxiao with lightning speed and ferocious might. Be careful, Jiang Chen said with a solemn expression. Jin Xiaoxiao still wasn't sure if she could fight Claude again. Both of them had improved a lot. Their situation was still worrisome in this second battle. In front of Jiang Chen were 2 guys who had just broken through to the 4th heavenly layer of Star Emperor realm. Their strength was obviously unstable, but they were still 3 heavenly layers stronger than Jiang Chen. Moreover, they were fighting 1 against 2. They were not to be underestimated. Kid, it's not too late to surrender now. Otherwise, you're doomed. That's right. I like steaming the most. The 2 fellows of the dinosaur race said with a sneer. Their eyes were filled with disdain. In their eyes, Jiang Chen was just a plaything that wasn't worthy of their attention. Any one of them could easily crush him to death. Then I'd like to see which one of you can roast me and steam me. Jiang Chen crossed his arms in front of his chest and said with interest. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Grandpa will teach you how to behave today. The pointy-mouthed young man squinted his eyes and shouted in a low voice. His figure was like a gust of wind, whistling through the air. His sharp claws were like lightning, streaking across the sky. Jiang Chen's expression was gloomy and cold. These two fellows were not a threat to him. This time, it was a good opportunity to test his strength by using these two fellows as an example. Jiang Chen's body shook like steel. His feet moved like tigers and dragons, clashing with the expert of the dinosaur tribe in a split second. Jiang Chen's strength was like a vast ocean, surging and crashing. This simple exchange had shocked the expert of the dinosaur tribe. Jiang Chen's strength had completely exceeded his expectation. The clash between the two was extremely exciting, like a needle against an awl, extremely intense. Jiang Chen rose up step by step, using his flesh and blood to fight against the expert of the dinosaur tribe. He didn't seem to be at a disadvantage. "I've underestimated you." "Humph." The expert of the dinosaur tribe sneered, his face as gloomy as water. Jiang Chen's sprinting gave people the feeling of Mount Tai pressing down on them. Every step he took was like carrying 9 bulls, crazily attacking. The two hadn't even exchanged 20 moves, but Jiang Chen had already gained the upper hand. Although there was a difference of 3 heavens, his strength was quite abnormal. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack." The expert of the dinosaur tribe shouted angrily. Under Jiang Chen's crazy attack, he had completely lost the initiative. Although he had lost face, his life was more important. Even if 2 Fourth Heaven Star Emperor Realm experts attacked Jiang Chen at the same time, as long as they could kill him here, no one would know. Jin Xiaoxiao also looked at Jiang Chen worriedly. His fighting strength was not bad, but his opponents were not easy to deal with either. 2 Fourth Heaven Star Emperor Realm experts, even he would have to fight for a long time. Could Jiang Chen really stop them? Jiang Chen didn't change his countenance even though he was fighting 2 enemies at the same time. However, it was time for him to show his real strength. Under the dragon transformation, his body expanded. The expressions of the 2 experts of the dinosaur tribe slightly changed. Jiang Chen's half-human half-dragon body was indeed ferocious. His strength and momentum skyrocketed. Even Jin Xiaoxiao and Claude couldn't help but be surprised. What kind of bird dragon was this? How could he be so fierce? When did such a mutant appear in the Golden Dragon tribe? The two were full of doubts. However, Jiang Chen's aggressiveness gave them a headache. They couldn't take him down at the same time. The situation was in a stalemate. This was the most embarrassing moment in their lives. The two of them had joined hands to fight against a guy at the first heavens of the Star Emperor realm. It was too shameful. "Both of you have to die." Chapter 4687. Jiang Chen's strength was on full display at this moment. He had already reached the peak of the first sky of the Star Emperor realm. After using the dragon transformation, his strength soared. Facing 2 Fourth Sky Star Emperor realm warriors who had not yet stabilized their strength, he had no fear at all. His strength was invincible. Although his dragon transformation was not as big as 100 zhong, his body was covered with iron bones. His dragon fist made the 2 velociraptors groan incessantly. "Damn it, let's fight." Activate the dragon form. Both of them looked at each other and unleashed their most powerful skills. Their movements were so fast that even Jiang Chen couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Their movements were so fast that even Jiang Chen was shocked. "Be careful, Jiang Chen. These 2 are velociraptors. They are very fast." Before Jin Xiaoxiao's voice died away, she had already been pushed back dozens of zhong. The scene was extremely violent. The fight between the two was even fiercer and more brutal than theirs. No wonder they are so fast. Jiang Chen's heart trembled. With a shake of their bodies, the 2 of them transformed into giant dragons that were 30 meters tall. Their claws were like crescent blades, looking extremely strange. They were staring at Jiang Chen at all times. With a roar, the 2 clumsy dragons swooped down without any resistance and squeezed Jiang Chen in the middle. The huge impact was enough to break a mountain. Jiang Chen used both of his arms to block, grabbing the fangs of the 2 dragons. The terrifying force caused his body to sink down to his knees. One could only imagine how crazy it was. However, Jiang Chen didn't move an inch. Instead, he slowly separated the 2 dragons, using his body as the axis, and began to swing them. The tiny Jiang Chen and the 2 gigantic tyrannical dragons formed a sharp contrast. However, Jiang Chen's strength was beyond their imagination. He spun them 3 times, and they were instantly sent flying away. Both of them crashed into a huge boulder. Rows of ancient trees were smashed into smithereens, and everything within a few hundred meters radius was razed to the ground. Roar, roar, accompanied by two violent roars, they even formed sonic booms, like sharp rips, turning into bursts of explosions in the air. "Two idiots, come on!" Jiang Chen sneered. His roar was not any weaker than the two velociraptors. In the blink of an eye, the two velociraptors had already arrived. They knew of Jiang Chen's methods, and did not dare to be careless. In this battle, they had to bring out their trump cards. The velociraptor's sharpest weapon was speed. This was also their pride. Thus, they wanted to use their strengths to attack Jiang Chen's weaknesses. If they could deal a heavy blow to Jiang Chen in terms of speed, then their chance would come. "Kid, Grandpa will play with you today. Kill." The two velociraptors turned into two beams of light, streaking across the horizon. Jiang Chen's heart sank. These two were not easy to deal with. At least, if they were fast enough, they would be invincible. Wanting to defeat them would not be an easy task. Jiang Chen immediately raised his blade, meeting the two velociraptors head-on. He did not dodge or evade, but instead began a direct confrontation. However, these two had obviously changed their tactics. Previously, they had been tossed out by Jiang Chen like trash. Now, they naturally had to prepare a foolproof plan. Time and time again, they only lightly attacked. They did not cause too much of an impact on Jiang Chen. The two of them wanted to exhaust Jiang Chen's stamina, squeezing out his strength to the lowest point before killing him. This was indeed a smart move. But how could Jiang Chen just sit and wait for death? Since these two did not want to fight him head-on, then he would take the initiative to attack. Passively defending was always a bad idea. Once he was given a chance to counterattack, then he would be suppressed like a storm. Although speed wasn't Jiang Chen's forte, it wasn't too difficult for him to evade these two fellows. Although he had sustained some minor injuries, Jiang Chen had been accumulating his strength and waiting for the right opportunity. Once he seized the opportunity, he would definitely make those two fellows die a graveless death. Chi-chi. Ear-piercing sounds continuously rang out in Jiang Chen's ears. This was enough to show how terrifying these two were. However, Jiang Chen's thoughts were also very meticulous. He was waiting for an opportunity, not panicking in the slightest. Here it is. Jiang Chen suddenly made his move. The situation of passively taking a beating instantly changed. He gathered all the strength in his body and directly grabbed one of the velociraptors. Without any flashy moves, Jiang Chen madly rushed forward, firmly gripping the velociraptor's teeth. Punch after punch. His strength was astonishing. The velociraptor felt as if it was being crushed by a mountain. The velociraptor let out miserable cries. Even when facing the other velociraptor, Jiang Chen did not move an inch. Grab one and beat it to death. His fists were like a torrential downpour of pear blossoms. Punch after punch, the velociraptor was badly mutilated. Its bones were completely shattered. Fresh blood spurted out, splattering all over the forest. Pang, pang, pang. Invincible iron fist. Jiang Chen was like a madman. He wanted to go all out in a single spurt of energy. Even if his back was heavily injured, he would not hesitate. Finally, after more than 100 punches, that terrifying strength was perfectly demonstrated. The velociraptor's head had been smashed to smithereens by Jiang Chen. Its flesh and blood were mangled, and it looked like a decapitated dragon. It had long since ceased to breathe. And when Jiang Chen turned his head, the other velociraptor felt its heart tremble. Seeing its comrade beaten to death by Jiang Chen, it couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. Motherfastris cur. Isn't this fellow too ruthless? The velociraptor's heart trembled, and it subconsciously took a step back. In terms of momentum, it had already lost to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen's gaze was like a bolt of lightning, piercing through the velociraptor's heart. In its heart, there was only one thought: run. But Jiang Chen did not give it this chance. Want to run? No way. Although the velociraptor was extremely fast, Jiang Chen stepped on the sky-ascending stairs. With a flash, he appeared beside the velociraptor. Previously, he had merely concealed his presence. This time, Jiang Chen was swift and decisive. With lightning speed, he once again captured the velociraptor. This is impossible, the velociraptor exclaimed in disbelief. However, The collision between the two had already begun. The velociraptor was forced to fight against Jiang Chen, but the tragic death of its comrade was still fresh in its mind. In its heart, it was already complaining incessantly. "Brother Da, save me." Chapter 4688. Jiang Chen was gasping for breath. He had also lost a lot of blood. However, these two guys had died far more miserably than him. Claude was furious. These two brothers had a close relationship with him. They were the people he trusted the most. However, they had been killed by Jiang Chen. Not only that, but they had also died without a complete corpse. One could imagine how angry he was. Jin Xiaoxiao heaved a sigh of relief. After all, Jiang Chen's life was no longer in danger. Moreover, he had killed two fourth heavenly layer Star Emperor experts. Although she was shocked, she didn't need to tremble in fear anymore. At the same time, she was also shocked by Jiang Chen's strength. This was the true definition of pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. This guy's bones were filled with valiance, just like a ferocious tiger that had escaped from its cage. "You Golden Dragon Clan trash. Go to hell." Fury of Storm. Claude's roar shook the sky. He was so powerful that he triggered a storm that swept across the sky. Jin Xiaoxiao's expression changed. She kept retreating, not daring to face his attack head-on. Soaring Dragon and Leaping Tiger. Jin Xiaoxiao's figure kept flashing as she kept attacking the storm. However, this fury of storm was too terrifying. It was difficult for her to move forward. Moreover, she was blocked at every step. The pressure kept increasing, and her injuries became more and more serious. Although she could exhaust Claude, it would be extremely difficult to defeat him. Moreover, Claude's current strength was even stronger than hers. "Let me give you a hand," Jiang Chen growled. He didn't retreat. Although he was already seriously injured, he had to step forward. Otherwise, Jin Xiaoxiao wouldn't be able to stop him alone. This scene is extremely similar. However, the result is destined to be vastly different. "This time around, none of you will be able to escape," Claude said with a cold smile. If it wasn't for the fact that his strength was severely damaged, how could he have been defeated by Jiang Chen? This time, he had to kill the two of them to vent the hatred in his heart. "Unfortunately, you don't have the strength to do so." Jiang Chen's eyes were as sharp as a knife. His figure didn't change. He used his dragon transformation and charged into the storm. The violent storm couldn't do anything to him. The wind blades could barely hurt his flesh. Jiang Chen was like an invincible diamond. He was invincible in the fury of storm. "Damn it," Claude said while clenching his teeth. He was extremely angry. This bastard's body could actually be this strong. He had underestimated Lin Fan. Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes flickered. Her chance had come. She could resist the fury of the storm. If the two of them joined forces, killing Claude would be just around the corner. "It's only a matter of time. Jiang Chen, you hold the line for me," Jin Xiaoxiao shouted. She didn't retreat at all. Even though she was facing Claude's fury of storm, she was still calm and composed without Jiang Chen's strength. This was her only chance. She had thought that she was in a critical situation and her life was hanging by a thread. However, after Jiang Chen killed the two velociraptors, Jin Xiaoxiao's hope was rekindled. This time, she wouldn't sit still and wait for death. Jiang Chen nodded slightly. The two started to fight back against Claude's fury of storm. Claude's facial expression was extremely grim. Jiang Chen's strength was beyond his expectation. Jiang Chen had killed two fourth Heavenly Star Emperor experts. It was enough to show how abnormal this guy was. Plus, he was only at the first Heavenly Star Emperor realm. Such a monstrous genius really shocked him. If Jiang Chen was allowed to grow in the future, he was afraid that the entire Golden Dragon Clan would rise. Although Claude was startled, he didn't panic. He had no way out now. He had to fight with Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao to the death. Claude didn't expect that Jiang Chen and Claude would clash head-on. The fury of storm could destroy heaven and earth, but Jiang Chen still withstood it. It was obvious how terrifying this guy's body was. Jiang Chen was still fighting like crazy, holding Claude and not letting go. In this way, Jin Xiaoxiao would have more chances. "You're crazy," Claude cursed. Jiang Chen seemed to have gone mad. There was no pause in his violent battle. He was like a mad bull. Claude's heart was filled with bitterness. Although he was able to deal with Jiang Chen's assault and the fury of storm had bought him enough time, Jin Xiaoxiao's attacks were all pervasive. Under the joint attack of the two, it was difficult for him to move forward. Bang! Bang! Jiang Chen didn't even need to use his full strength. He only needed to attack Claude, and the rest would be left to Jin Xiaoxiao. Jiang Chen was also quite surprised. Jin Xiaoxiao was like a lioness. She had completely opened her conception and governor vessels and began to attack without holding back. Because of Jiang Chen's presence, she didn't have any worries. Compared to before, she was more troublesome. This day next year will be the day of your death. Jin Xiaoxiao was as fast as lightning. She put all of her strength into this sky-raising strike. Claude's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. His complexion was ashen. He could only keep retreating and running for his life. Want to run? You'll have to get through me first. Jiang Chen sneered and blocked Claude's path of retreat. Under the two-pronged attack, Claude was injured one after another. Jin Xiaoxiao's long blade went straight in, making Claude feel a fatal threat. Time was ticking away. There was no room for him to turn back. Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao's cooperation was perfect. It could be said to be flawless. Claude staggered step by step as he was besieged from left and right. It was difficult for him to take care of his head and tail. I admit defeat. Claude finally bowed his head because he didn't want to die here. He, who had taken every conceivable possibility into account, had been defeated by Jiang Chen twice. Jiang Chen's strength was the only thing he had overlooked. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. He was already filled with regret. Unfortunately, it's useless, Jin Xiaoxiao said disdainfully. Her pretty face was drenched in sweat. However, as long as she could kill Claude, she wouldn't hesitate to injure the enemy and herself. Moreover, she didn't need to risk her life. With Jiang Chen's help, she was like a tiger that had grown wings. Killing Claude was just a matter of time. How could he surrender now? Jin Xiaoxiao's killing intent and anger made even Jiang Chen a little afraid. This woman was too crazy. She also loathed Claude. She had almost been killed by him in the past. Now that the tables had turned, how could she let Claude go? You dare! The dinosaur race will never let you go. Claude put on a strong front. He could feel death approaching. He didn't even have 1/10 of his strength left. If Jin Xiaoxiao and Jiang Chen wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping their palms. Chapter 46-89. Jin Xiaoxiao ignored Claude and rushed to the peak of the void. Her saber swept horizontally like a scorching sun, aiming for Claude's chest. With Jiang Chen's assistance, Jin Xiaoxiao was unstoppable. She charged forward valiantly and valiantly. No, no! Claude's desperate roar reverberated in the sky, but his figure had already fallen to the ground. Jiang Chen smiled faintly and looked at Jin Xiaoxiao. Her face also revealed a knowing smile, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from her shoulders. Not bad. Jiang Chen gave Jin Xiaoxiao a thumbs up. Jin Xiaoxiao smiled brightly. The saber dripping with blood could no longer support her heavily injured body. She spurted out a mouthful of blood and almost fell to the ground. Jiang Chen quickly helped her up. Jin Xiaoxiao instantly went limp in Jiang Chen's arms. Her face was blushing, and she looked slightly embarrassed. It's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to defeat him. Jin Xiaoxiao smiled bitterly. Her face was pale and weak. That guy's strength is indeed not weak. We let him escape once, but this time, he didn't leave behind any trouble. Jiang Chen said, Claude isn't the only expert of the dinosaur tribe. We still need to be careful. Moreover, with the experts of the 4 great dragon tribes gathered here, White Bamboo Peak will surely be filled with carnage. More and more people will die. Jin Xiaoxiao said in a solemn voice. Although Claude was killed, they were still not safe. Enemies could appear at any time. Even the Golden Dragon tribe might not be completely trustworthy. There were many people who would stab others in the back. In such a difficult environment, obtaining a Chaos Origin Orb was extremely difficult, and it was related to one's future potential and status. Under the absolute temptation, even people of the same tribe might betray them. However, Jiang Chen made Jin Xiaoxiao see the light in him once again. This man was worthy of trust. Your cultivation is extremely unstable. It's very likely that you're about to break through. Moreover, you've suffered such heavy injuries. You should take a rest first. Jiang Chen said. Yes. Jin Xiaoxiao's voice was low like a mosquito's bite. She took a deep breath, pulled herself together, and began to cultivate. Jiang Chen's injuries were also not light, but he insisted on protecting her, which made Jin Xiaoxiao feel quite touched. At critical moments, Jiang Chen was also the person she trusted the most. 3 days later, Jin Xiaoxiao's strength had completely stabilized at the 5th heavenly layer of the Star Emperor realm. Her aura was steadier and more solid than before. Even her temperament had become more enchanting. Congratulations, Jiang Chen said with a smile. Stop teasing me. Let's go. We need to find another Chaos Origin bead. Jin Xiaoxiao still felt that she owed Jiang Chen. He had tried his best to buy more time for her, but he did not mention a word about the Chaos Origin bead. If she obtained the Chaos Origin bead but Jiang Chen did not, she would definitely blame herself. Therefore, she had to find another Chaos Origin bead for Jiang Chen. The two of them moved forward in White Bamboo Peak, constantly searching. At the same time, they had to be cautious of their surroundings. Any movement would affect their hearts. I sense a very dense aura of the Chaos Origin bead. Jiang Chen's expression changed as he said in a low voice. Is that so? Why can't I sense it? Jin Xiaoxiao's expression changed slightly as she said in a daze. She did not sense anything. Could Jiang Chen have made a mistake? Over there, let's go. Jiang Chen pulled Jin Xiaoxiao and quickly sped away. Jin Xiaoxiao blushed a little, feeling a little touched in her heart. But she knew that Jiang Chen only regarded her as a good friend. In less than a quarter of an hour, Jiang Chen finally found the hidden cave at the bottom of the mountain. It was surrounded by dense bushes and there was no path, but Jiang Chen's eyes were as bright as torches. He was certain that the aura must have come from here because the source dragon in his body had a very strong feeling. It did not feel like this when he encountered the Chaos Origin bead in Jin Xiaoxiao's hand, but the source dragon in Jiang Chen's body had already begun to stir restlessly. It was enough to tell that the Chaos Origin bead was absolutely extraordinary. Are you sure? Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen in surprise. The Eternal Dragon Clan's clan leader had said that the Chaos Origin bead exuded an extremely dense Genesis chi that could be sensed within a 10-mile radius, but Jin Xiaoxiao did not feel anything at all. She could only stare suspiciously at Jiang Chen. That's right, it's here. The corners of Jiang Chen's mouth curved in an imperceptible smile. Jiang Chen pushed aside the bushes and plunged into the cave. His face turned incomparably solemn because he saw a fist-sized Chaos Origin bead exuding a faint cyan light. At that moment, Jiang Chen felt as if he had seen the sun through the clouds. It was too shocking. The Chaos Origin bead was much larger than the one in Jin Xiaoxiao's hand. Moreover, the extremely dense Genesis chi it exuded was refreshing and made his breathing quicken. The Genesis chi contained in it was extremely terrifying. Even a starry sky origin stone might not be as dense as it. This, Jin Xiaoxiao was completely stunned. She stood rooted to the spot and couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. The Genesis chi contained in such a large Chaos Origin bead was dozens of times greater than her own. It was simply a treasure. The Genesis chi in a starry sky origin stone was far from comparable. It was refined by the patriarch of the Eternal Dragon Clan, and every bead was worth thousands of gold. It was quite terrifying for the patriarch of the Eternal Dragon Clan to take out such a large sum. Now that Jiang Chen had obtained the Chaos Origin bead, Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't help but feel envious. First place. This is the Starry Sky Origin Stone that represents the first place in the ranking battle. Jin Xiaoxiao said excitedly. She even danced with joy. Jiang Chen's luck was too good. The huge one engraved on the Chaos Origin bead was incomparably dazzling and resplendent. Jiang Chen's expression remained the same. Although he was also very excited, Jin Xiaoxiao couldn't see how happy Jiang Chen was. It was as if all of this wasn't happening to him. Jiang Chen held the Chaos Origin bead in his hand with an incomparably solemn expression. However, he was also very shocked. The treasure taken out by the Eternal Dragon Clan was indeed valuable. This Chaos Origin bead could definitely raise his strength by a level. What? You don't seem happy. Are you scared, silly? Ha ha. Jin Xiaoxiao covered her mouth and giggled. Jiang Chen shook his head. A gentleman is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime. I'm afraid that this Chaos Origin bead won't be easy to guard. It will definitely attract a lot of bloodshed. Chapter 4690. The treasure was in their hands, but there was no guarantee that no one would come to snatch it during this period of time. The primal origin orb in Jiang Chen's hand must have raised their safety to the limit. You're right. Looks like we have to be more careful. Jin Xiaoxiao and Jiang Chen looked at each other. For them, the Battle of White Bamboo Peak was secondary. Whether or not they could keep the Chaos Origin Orb was the most important matter. This hot potato could very well send them to eternal damnation. Perhaps it's already too late, Jiang Chen said with a bitter smile. Jin Xiaoxiao's heart sank and her expression changed abruptly. Before Jiang Chen finished his words, two terrifying auras had already surrounded them, leaving them with nowhere to retreat. Tyrant Sky Chen. Jin Xiaoxiao's voice was incomparably solemn. This guy was a peerless expert of the dinosaur clan. He was even stronger than Claude. His appearance also made Jin Xiaoxiao feel that it was quite troublesome. Li Kongyi. Proud Sky Dragon Clan's Fei Tianlong was also an expert with eyesight that was comparable to dominating Sky Chen. These two fellows were geniuses that had risen to fame in the past few hundred years. They were also very popular candidates in this ranking tournament. I didn't expect us to be so fated. Miss Xiaoxiao, we've met once 100 years ago. I've always been fascinated by you. Li Kongyi said with a smile. He was thin, tall, and wore a white robe. He gave people a very modest and gentlemanly feeling. There was even an indescribable feminine feeling. However, Jin Xiaoxiao knew that this guy was a sanctimonious person who had done countless dirty things in secret. He was a top playboy in the Ao Tian Dragon Clan. Is that so? But my memory is a little bad, so I didn't remember. Jin Xiaoxiao said with a cold smile. These two guys obviously came with ill intentions. Cut the crap and hand over the item. Otherwise I'll kill you. Tyrant Chen Lunglung said. He had the tyrant body and was more than 3 meters tall. His entire body was bursting with muscles. He looked as strong as an ox. He stood there like a wall, a mountain, or a towering tree that had taken root under his feet. He gave off a great pressure. I didn't expect the two of you to be together. Jackals of the same tribe. Jin Xiaoxiao curled her lips and teased. At this time, no one was more nervous than her, because she knew that these two people were more terrifying than Claude. There was no chance of winning this battle. Jiang Chen stood beside Jin Xiaoxiao. These two fellows had been eyeing them like tigers watching their prey. It seemed like they had planned this beforehand. These words are a bit hurtful. Xiaoxiao, do you know that the person I've been thinking about day and night all these years, isn't it you? As long as you and I work together, I'm afraid that not many people will be our match, right? Wouldn't it be wonderful to hold hands and cultivate together? Ever since you killed Claude, we've been eyeing you. We were planning to take action, but we didn't expect him to have a great discovery. That's why you can live a little longer. Li Kongyi looked at Jin Xiaoxiao with a smile on his face, as if he was admiring a beautiful painting. I'm afraid I don't have such luck. If you want to find someone to dual cultivate with, I'm afraid there are more than 3,000 or 5,000 people in your Ao Tian Dragon Clan, right? Jin Xiaoxiao said calmly. It turned out that they had been eyeing them for a long time. It seemed that they had come with bad intentions. How can those mediocre women compare to you? Don't compare them with you. That's an insult to you. Li Kongyi shook his head and said, I didn't expect you to be so lucky. Unfortunately, you don't have the luck to enjoy it. Tyrant Chen had been eyeing Jiang Chen all along. He only had one target, and that was Jiang Chen. He didn't care about that woman at all. Tyrant Chen, Li Kongyi, are you two going to fight? Jin Xiaoxiao's aura was released, and the atmosphere instantly became tense. Compared to before, she was much stronger. Even if she had to face these two people, she wouldn't retreat even half a step. Women are indeed not inferior to men. Unfortunately, you're destined to become my woman today. Li Kongyi said lecherously. I'll stop them later. You run away quickly. These two aren't like Claude. We have no chance at all. I have my own way to get out of here if you run away. Otherwise, you'll only be a burden to me. Do you understand? Jin Xiaoxiao transmitted her voice to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen smiled helplessly. This was his usual trick. However, he also knew that these two guys were much more ferocious than they had imagined. Jiang Chen remained silent. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at him and frowned. This Jiang Chen didn't seem to be convinced. He didn't want to fight to the death with these two guys, did he? If you want to go, let's go together. If we're going to die, let's die together. Jiang Chen's eyes were extremely firm. Jin Xiaoxiao's heart was getting warmer. However, she knew that it wasn't the time to be sentimental. It wouldn't be easy to leave this place. Tyrant Chen and Li Kongyi wouldn't let them go easily. What if I'm not willing? Jin Xiaoxiao's eyes were burning. I'll just kill him and take his treasures. Tyrant Chen stared at Jiang Chen without blinking. Obviously, he was getting impatient. I'll just suffer a little. As long as you're willing to follow me, everything will be fine. However, if you're not willing, I don't mind using force. Of course I won't kill you. I'll ravage you slowly. I'll also use your Chaos Source Pearl. Actually, I also have a Chaos Source Pearl. What I want more is you. Li Kongyi gradually stopped smiling. His sinister and terrifying eyes emitted a dim light. Xiaoxiao, don't challenge my bottom line. My patience is limited. Then, all right. Before Jin Xiaoxiao finished her words, she had already pulled Jiang Chen and started to run. Jiang Chen didn't expect Jin Xiaoxiao to be so fast. She directly flew into the sky, broke out of the cave and galloped away. Go after them. Tyrant Chen looked at Li Kongyi coldly. Li Kongyi was also very cold and full of killing intent. Kill. The two looked at each other. Killing intent burst out from their eyes. They turned into long rainbows and instantly chased after Li Kongyi. Want to run? You're too young. Li Kongyi arrived in the blink of an eye. He was even faster than the velociraptor. In the Outyan dragon tribe, the representative of the winged dragon was Li Kongyi's family. It could be seen that he was the son of the sky. His speed was so fast that only a few people could rival him on the entire ancient dragon star. Chapter 4691. Jiang Chen was right. A gentleman's wealth was his own ruin. They had nowhere to run. Although the Chaos Source Pearl was good, it was a life-taking pearl that made people despair. You have nowhere to hide. Only death awaits you. Tyrant Tianchen stood proudly and sealed the void with Li Kongyi. Jin Xiaoxiao's face was pale and she was a little disappointed. Bringing Jiang Chen into the Golden Dragon tribe and into this ranking battle might have been a mistake. She could not absolve herself from the blame for Jiang Chen's death. Since there is no other choice, let's fight. Jiang Chen, who had not spoken for a long time, said in a low voice. He looked at Jin Xiaoxiao. Sometimes, death was not scary. What was scary was not having the courage to face death. Running away was, after all, the last resort. In Jiang Chen's dictionary, there was no such thing as a deserter. Jin Xiaoxiao looked at Jiang Chen with mixed feelings in her heart. She kept telling herself that she had to carve out a bloody path for Jiang Chen. Her life was given by Jiang Chen. She had always been a person who could distinguish between kindness and hatred. Jiang Chen was also very courteous to her and never had any selfish motives. Even when facing the Chaos Source Pearl, he did not have any other intentions. It was enough to tell what kind of person Jiang Chen was. He was a man worthy of being entrusted to. Moreover, he was the most important man in her life. Jin Xiaoxiao's temper was explosive and she was not good with words. However, she knew that Jiang Chen was in her heart. Especially at this time, she could not ignore Jiang Chen. Even if she had to die, she must die before him. A gentleman would die for his bosom friend. Jin Xiaoxiao was already prepared to face death with equanimity. You can't blame me for not taking the road to heaven. Xiaoxiao, you can't blame me. Don't say that I don't know how to be tender to the fairer sex. I've already given you a chance, but you're useless. Li Kongyi said with a sinister smile. He was practicing with Tyrant Tianchen and had begun to approach Jiang Chen and Jin Xiaoxiao. Leave him to me. That bitch is yours. Tyrant Tianchen pointed at Jiang Chen and said, All right. Li Kongyi raised his eyes slightly and walked toward Jin Xiaoxiao with a smile. Jiang Chen, leave as soon as you have the chance. Now is not the time to be indecisive. Every person that can escape counts. Do you understand? Jin Xiaoxiao reminded. Jiang Chen nodded slightly with a cold look in his eyes. He did not plan to leave this place at all because he had his eyes on the Chaos Source Bead in Xueqi's hand. If he could get another Chaos Source Bead, it would definitely be of great benefit to his strength. Xueqi wanted to kill and rob, and so did Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen and Ba Tianchen stared at each other. A battle was about to break out. Brat, I will tear you into pieces. At that time, I will eat you bite by bite and chew your bones into pieces. It will definitely be a very enjoyable thing. It will be super delicious. Ba Tianchen said fiercely. He took a step forward with the strength to pick up a mountain, giving people the feeling that a heavy rain was coming. Ba Tianchen threw a punch at Jiang Chen's face. The curtains of a life-and-death battle had finally begun. Jiang Chen looked indifferent and his killing intent was like a rainbow. He brazenly met Ba Tianchen's attack with a punch. The confrontation between the two was like a heavenly thunder stirring the earth fire. It was very exciting. Jin Xiaoxiao kept retreating, but at this moment, Xueqi had also caught up with her. How could he give her any chance to escape? Little beauty, tonight, you're mine, he. Xueqi's sinister fangs were revealed at this moment, vividly and vividly. The punch between Jiang Chen and Ba Tianchen was also earth-shattering. Jiang Chen was directly knocked back dozens of steps, while Ba Tianchen did not move at all. Not bad. You can even take a punch from me. Interesting. On the other hand, a smile appeared on Ba Tianchen's face as he continued walking forward. The peak of the fifth heaven of the Star Emperor realm. He is much stronger than Claude. Jiang Chen was a little surprised. Ba Tianchen's momentum and ferocious breath were really terrifying. Ba Tianchen was stronger than Jiang Chen by the fourth heaven of the Star Emperor realm. It was not easy to defeat him. However, Jiang Chen liked this kind of challenge. If there was no passion, life would be so boring. Jiang Chen wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth gently. This kind of fight was what he liked most. Jiang Chen directly displayed the dragon transformation. In his dragon form, he started a fierce fight with Ba Tianchen. The horrible power set off an unparalleled wind. After displaying the dragon transformation, Jiang Chen's strength had reached the peak of the third heaven of the Star Emperor realm, or even higher. The collision of their flesh and blood aroused Ba Tianchen's bloodthirsty fighting intent. You are courting death. I will fulfill your wish. Ba Tianchen roared. Facing Jiang Chen's crazy attack, he was still calm. He was the most powerful Tyrannosaurus rex of the dinosaur tribe. The strength of a Tyrannosaurus rex was far beyond that of an ordinary dinosaur tribe. The Tyrannosaurus rex's body was almost unparalleled. The power of their bloodline was comparable to that of the eternal dragon tribe. The innate strength and majesty of the Tyrannosaurus rex made them invincible. Every Tyrannosaurus rex was a ferocious and ruthless beast. Once they were angry, they would go out of control. Tyrant Tianchen's strong physique wasn't any weaker than Jiang Chen's. The confrontation between the two of them was extremely bloody. They clashed against each other again and again, breaking mountains, smashing boulders and rolling down the valleys and rivers. Their destructive power was like that of a master of destruction. Everything within a radius of a dozen miles was turned into ashes. Although Jiang Chen was ferocious, the gap between the two wasn't something that could be easily made up for. You are still too young. Killing you will be as easy as taking something out of my pocket. Ba Tianchen rushed forward and waved his thick arms. Jiang Chen took the attack head-on. Even if his body could take it, the pressure of the momentum was not something that could be made up for with strength. Ancient Soaring Dragon Technique. Jiang Chen performed the Ancient Soaring Dragon Technique again. His strength rose again and reached the fifth heaven of the Star Emperor realm. However, the price he had to pay was also very high. It was impossible for Jiang Chen to hold on for too long. Performing the dragon transformation and the Ancient Soaring Dragon Technique at the same time was very taxing. This is getting more and more interesting. Ba Tianchen sneered. His mind was solemn. Jiang Chen's Ancient Soaring Dragon Technique must be a secret technique of the Dragon Clan, as it was able to increase Jiang Chen's strength. If he could obtain it, wouldn't he be able to reach the next level? Jiang Chen was just a rookie at the first heaven of the Star Emperor realm, but he could use the Ancient Soaring Dragon Technique to fight against him. Ba Tianchen had long been interested in this secret technique of Jiang Chen. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.